To be a Steelers, consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. From previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture.
Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the Steel Twins.
Steelers Nation, we are just a little more than 24 hours away until the NFL draft, the 2025 NFL draft, until the Tennessee Titans are on the clock, which means we are, I suppose, are officially on the Shedeur Sanders watch. Because at this point right here, right now, before we get into any other discussion, I'm starting to think he might actually be the pick at 21.
And based off social media and the speculation and the numerous amount of final mock drafts that are kind of hitting on social media, especially from the ESPN members, yeah, they have Shedeur falling to 21 and the Steelers taking him.
Very interesting. Who would have thought?
There's a lot of speculation going on right now about the Steelers and Shedeur Sanders. It's not hard to see why. Steelers need a quarterback. Shedeur is all about his mentality and whatnot. It's just, and Tomlin loves the bloodlines. We'll see. We'll see, but we're just a little over 24 hours away from really finding out who's going to be the pick at 21.
I'll put it this way. Shedeur Sanders is right now the heavy favorite, but he should not be the only option there at 21. And he obviously won't be the only option at 21. Steelers have a plethora of options to choose from based off of the positions of need in the top 30 visits. We will get into those names specifically tonight, while we discuss on a final Steelers draft talk, specifically regarding the first round. But that's not all that we got to talk about today. Apparently, there's some news regarding Mr. George Pickens, number 14 over there.
Good old GP.
What does his
future hold?
What does his future hold for the Steelers, man? Apparently, according to Jordan Schultz, the Steelers have taken and have made calls regarding George Pickens. They're not actively shopping him, but there are talks regarding a potential George Pickens move out of Pittsburgh. Could that actually happen for the right price? I don't think it actually happens, but we'll get into it. We'll discuss his article. We'll discuss certain potential trade partners and what they could offer, what they value, what they have. And believe me, there's at least 5 teams off the top of my head that could be in contention for George Pickens. Would the Steelers actually move on from him? It could happen tomorrow. Could happen Friday. Nobody really knows, man. It's just crazy how once the NFL draft gets closer and closer, that news and all these reports regarding either players being traded, players being moved around, NFL draft prospects, and some concerns or whatever about them coming out or them dropping down or certain guys rising up. This is crazy stuff around the NFL draft world around this time. It happens every year, and at this point, you just want the NFL draft to be here so that all the nonsense, all the news can be tossed to the side. We can actually watch the picks and all the mock drafts, all the draft talk can be thrown out the window.
Yeah.
We got 24 more hours of this, Rob.
One more day, bro. We're almost there.
One more day.
We're at the goal line.
There is a poll in the chat for you guys. Who will be the pick in the first round for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I gave you 4 realistic options. Derrick Harmon, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, or Treveyon Henderson. Yes, Treveyon Henderson, running back out of Ohio State.
Ohio State.
The Ohio
You
State.
get on my ass about it, I'm going to get on your ass tonight.
Yes. The reason we put Henderson in this poll and not in Marion Hampton is because we think there's more interest there. And frankly, I don't think Hampton's going to be there. I just don't see it happening. We'll discuss him being part of the options there in the first round, but I put Henderson there just based off of the interest, and he is getting a lot of first-round talks. Late first-round talks. I'm hearing maybe the Chiefs. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that was reported by Jeremy Fowler this morning.
Let's hope that doesn't become a reality. Last thing we need is the Chiefs to get another healthy playmaker.
Last thing they need is another good playmaker in general.
Nobody
No,
wants
like
to
the
see that.
Chiefs got enough, man. Come on.
The Chiefs have more than enough, man. Electric Visual says 24 hours until chaos. Yeah, everything's going to go crazy. Everything is going to go nuts, and I cannot wait. We will be live tomorrow night. As you guys know, the stream is already up there for schedule. We will be live tomorrow, a quarter after 7:15, right before the show, right before everything happens. So we'll be doing, some draft talk. We'll be doing some interesting stuff during that time leading up until 8 o'clock come draft time. We'll be live Friday night for night 2. And Lord knows, 24, 48 hours from now, where the Steelers are going to be lying at, what their roster is going to look like. And I'm very excited.
Yeah, especially day 2. I mean, they only have the 3rd round pick, the 83rd overall pick. And tomorrow is going to be interesting to see what they do with said first round pick.
Yes.
See if they do acquire an extra day 2 pick, whether that's a 2nd or a 3rd, considering the George Pickens situation, which we'll get into tonight. It's going to be bonkers.
It is. It is. Johnny in the chat says, anyone see Sanders highlights? Completely underwhelming. Accurate with a noodle arm. I didn't see highlights. I've seen a lot of film. I've seen a lot of his games from 2023 and 2024. I see what you're saying, and that's why I'm not all in on the Sanders train. We're on the Shedeur Sanders watch because we have to be. It's revolving around the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's potential that he could fall. We're all officially on the Shedeur Sanders watch. He's not my go-to. We've made that known all week. We made that known all month. That's not going to change. But we'll discuss it. We'll discuss him because he's probably the number 1 option in regards to the Steelers' realistic possibilities. Electric Vigil says Walter Nolan is a dark horse candidate to be taken in the top 10 tomorrow night. That's what I'm hearing as well. Yes, top 10. I don't know if you heard.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised. Again, when it comes to the draft, different scouts and GMs and teams have different draft boards than many other teams and whatnot. So it's a thing that happens every year, when it comes to a position, especially a deep class, right? Where one player is taken before said other player or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's a crazy situation. It happens every year. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Nolan's a very good player. He really is. Still got some stuff to work on, some kinks he's got to fix. But, Nolan's a very good player. Would I consider him top 10? Me personally, I don't. But I wouldn't be surprised.
But he could be the 2nd defensive lineman off the board after, of course, a Mason Graham. Or you never know.
Or maybe Nolan is taken before Mason Graham.
Things could happen, man. That's why the NFL draft is so crazy and it's so interesting because it's like all mock drafts become immediately wrong and debunked, and certain players go where you wouldn't think they would go.
Yeah, who remembers, I think it was 2019 draft class, remembers when Cleveland Farrell went before Josh Allen, the pass rusher?
Yeah.
John's Hines Allen nowadays.
Right.
Who remembers that?
Absolutely.
No one thought that was going to happen, but it did.
And it did.
So who's to say that Nolan going before Graham doesn't happen? It's a surefire possibility.
It's unbelievable. I'm very excited for it. Electric Visuals wants us to predict the quarterback draft spots. Okay, let's get the quarterback list going.
Well,
we start with Cam Ward.
I don't know. Do you know?
I think he's going to go to the Falcons. I'm kidding. He's going to go to the Titans. Obviously, everyone knows that.
Of course.
He's going to go to the Titans. Shedeur Sanders.
It's a toss-up.
I'm going to be completely unbiased here regarding my preferred pick. I think he ends up a Steeler. I do. We'll have final predictions tomorrow and tonight.
All right.
But I don't want to get ahead, but I do think Shedeur Sanders becomes a Steeler tomorrow.
I'll say this. I wouldn't be surprised if he were to fall to the Steelers. And if he's there, the Steelers no doubt will take him. I mean, how could they not, just based off his pedigree? And yes, the arm talent he does possess and just overall talent in general.
Right.
I could see the Giants for sure taking him at 3 if the Browns do not. If the Browns don't take Sanders or a quarterback in general at number 2, I think Giants could be a team on the watch for Sanders, considering they had a final look at him for a private workout that Sanders was holding.
Right.
So I can see the Giants doing that.
Or could they be a team that trades back up and get him? Never know.
It could be.
Jackson Dart.
Saints.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think the Saints take a quarterback at all.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm gonna say Dart goes to the Saints. Hey, Kellen Moore was all over him.
You're right.
The house was sent to his pro day. They were having a talk and a discussion closely to Jackson Dart.
And you notice about the Saints, man, they actually got some capital to work with this year. So they could eventually still get Dart. They don't have to take him at 9. They could trade up and get him. So
That's a possibility.
I'm going to agree. I don't think at 9, but I think Dart goes to the Saints at some point. Will Howard. This one's hard because
considering, after the top 4, quote unquote, it's really a toss up from that point. I don't know.
Will Howard's tough. I don't know what all teams are showing interest in him. I would have to say, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he ends up a Brown.
I could see that.
Jalen
I
Murrow.
wouldn't like that, but I could see that.
Jalen Murrow, I think he ends up a Giant.
You think Murrow goes to the Giants?
Yeah.
I can see him being a Raider.
I can
see Carroll taking him under his wing and try to develop and work on his raw instincts and whatnot.
And what about Tyler Shook? Tyler Shook is actually getting first-round talks.
Now you mentioned the Browns. I can see Shook going to the Browns.
That'd be hilarious.
I could see it.
That'd be hilarious.
Yep.
I don't know where Shook goes. If he goes in the first round, to who? Where is he? He doesn't fit anywhere.
Maybe he goes to the Jets.
Maybe he goes to the Saints.
He could go to the Saints.
He doesn't fit anywhere in the first round. So Shook, I don't know.
Vikings, maybe. I have no idea.
For a backup, maybe.
I have no idea. Maybe.
I don't know, man. Art in the chat says, I lost it. Give me a minute.
Yeah, scroll back up.
Art says, you guys are Iron Man at it again. Nice. I like it. Love your streams. Appreciate you, Art.
Thanks, Art. Appreciate it.
The best art in the organization. No disrespect to Art the Clown. With the way it sounds, it appears to me Sanders to Pittsburgh is a sure thing, says Mr. Steeler fan.
Sounds like it.
That's me.
That sounds like
that's
it.
how I feel.
That could just be social media, just blown out of proportions. Again, when it comes to the draft, it happens every single year. I mean, who remembers Malik Willis how many years ago?
Yeah.
Everybody thought for sure it was Malik Willis. I thought for sure it was Malik Willis.
But there's something more concrete about this. It's Deion Sanders' kid. You tell me Tomlin isn't going to take him?
Oh, for sure he would take him if he's there. If he's there, that's the pick.
I don't even think it's a smokescreen either.
No, I don't think so.
That's why we need tomorrow night, roughly 10:30, depending on how long teams
And no,
take.
I don't think the Steelers should trade up to get him.
No, I'm not trading up for Sanders. I'm not doing that whatsoever.
Nope.
Johnny says, I agree with you guys that D-line... I'm sorry, let me repeat that. I says, I agree with you guys that the D-line needs to be addressed. Harmon looks like the real deal. That's who I really want. At 21, I know he has medical concerns and a shoulder injury.
Yeah, that's come out within the past number of hours.
I'm still taking him at 21. If you can trade back and still get him, I'm even doing that. I still want Harmon. He's my number 1 guy tomorrow. Mr. Steelfan says, what don't we like about this young man? Shedeur Sanders was told he couldn't do HBC to FBC, and he did. He put up some solid numbers this year. He did. And he did improve Colorado to some degree. My thing is, I don't know what his ceiling holds. I don't know if he has that big of a ceiling. Is he going to be an elite quarterback? That's my biggest issue with him. Yeah. Is he going to challenge the AFC elites? Is he going to challenge any of the elites in the NFL? I don't know if he has those tendencies. I don't think he has those traits. And frankly, behind this offensive line, he needs to work on holding on the ball too long and dropping back too far, which are that's easily coachable. Other than that, is he going to be a solid quarterback? Is he going to be an average quarterback? Or is he going to be an elite quarterback? Is it worth the gamble for the Steelers?
In their eyes, in Mike Tomlin's eyes, it very well might be.
They
took the gamble on Kenny Pickett of all people.
They did. Digital Dust says, I have no clue who Khan will take. Harmon was flagged for some medical concerns. Yes. According to Mike Garafolo, it was a shoulder injury, which is weird because I don't think Harmon was hurt at all during his collegiate career.
No.
Not at Michigan State, not at Oregon, but now his shoulder injuries are popping up.
And there hasn't been any context on what's the severity of the shoulder injury or when exactly he hurt it.
Yeah.
Like, did he hurt it back at the combine? Did he hurt it back before the pro day and whatnot, his pro day? There's not really a lot of context into it. It's just the fact that he's dealing with a shoulder issue.
That's all I heard.
That's all that has been reported.
Yeah, so, and listen, that's never deterred Omar Khan away from taking anybody in the draft, especially in the trenches.
Yeah.
Electric Visual says J.J. Pegues and Florida defensive tackle on menu. You're talking about Cameron Jackson. Big boy. Almost like another Daniel McCullers in a sense. Someone they could take later if they want to double dip at line and get a future nose guy.
Oh, yeah.
I like those options later. I'd prefer D-line earlier, but I do love those options later. It just goes to show you how stacked D-line is.
Yep.
Honestly, what I see from Sanders on tape isn't very concerning. We should be asking, can Arthur Smith's offense do anything with Sanders at quarterback? I think he fits well with Arthur Smith. I do. He might not be the most mobile. He may not work with the read options and the bootlegs. I don't think that's going to be Sanders' go-to. I don't think that's Sanders' one of his strong suits. He can evade pressure. He can, scramble for sure. He can extend plays. But I don't think he's going to fit exactly what Arthur Smith wants to run with a mobile quarterback. I don't want to consider Sanders a mobile quarterback. But overall, in terms of what he does under center or in the shotgun or throwing the ball deep, I think he fits that for Arthur Smith.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I can see that fit, filling in nicely for a guy like Shedeur. But like you said, like what can Arthur Smith's offense do, or the coaching in general do for Sanders? How can they escalate his abilities? How can they get the best out of his traits?
That's a question about any quarterback for the future.
Yes, it is.
It really is. This year, next year, whenever.
That's a big question mark, and it always will be.
Visual says these reports about Sanders and his character are weird. Not going to lie, too much hate. I'm not tripping over his character. That's to me, that's nonsense. I know everyone says, oh, Dion was a head case. Well, guess what? He was an absolute winner in the league. He's going to adapt that to his kid, and he has. His kid is very, very confident in himself, and that's a good trait to have in a quarterback, especially going to the NFL. You need that. You need that confidence. I don't consider it arrogance. I think he just knows where he is or who he is and how good he can be. You got to have confidence going into the NFL.
Yeah.
That's what he has. I don't consider him a cancer. I don't consider him being a head case or having attitude issues or, whatever regarding his character. I don't even look at that and find that as a concern.
No, Sanders, he brings a swagger to the game. He brings a swagger to himself. He brings a swagger to his teammates and whatnot. That's just how Sanders is. It's in his blood. It's in his last name. He's going to carry that. His dad's adapted that into him.
Yeah.
Sanders is just a very confident person. And you want that, especially at the quarterback position.
Agreed.
You want that in any player.
Andrew Tate is the GOAT, says, no matter what we do, nothing will matter until that loser head coach is gone. I don't disagree, because I don't think Tomlin is going to push us any further than what he already has the past however many years. All I worry about for this draft is setting up for the future and setting up for future after Tomlin. For whenever that is, Lord knows when that's going to be. But give us a strong playmaker. Give us somebody that's going to represent the Steelers logo, the Steelers shield proudly. And maybe he can represent it long enough that he'll be here for whenever the next guy takes over. And that's someone that we can rally behind and someone that can root for this team, that we can root for. That's at the end of the day, that's what I'm really trying to find with this draft class. And I feel like the past two, there's still potential there. I'm hoping this one, they knock it out of the park again.
Yep.
Kenneth Grant should be the first-round pick. They need a true nose tackle. I would agree if they brought him in for a top 30 visit. There's just not enough interest. Not in my book.
For a first-round candidate, no.
Yeah.
No, you look at the pattern and the common theme for the Steelers, it's always been about the top 30 visit. It's always been about that. Grant was not brought in for one. I was actually surprised by the fact that they didn't bring him in, though they had, I think it was a combine visit, and Terrell Austin was there at the Michigan Pro Day. So yeah, the defensive coach was there. Defensive coordinator was there. So that's something. But this is a first-round candidate. I can't really see the Steelers not taking a first-round caliber player if they didn't have a top 30 visit with them.
Right. And at the same time, I will say, we did say that last year regarding someone like Fatanu. We didn't know if he was a legitimate contender based on the fact that they didn't send the house to his pro day. They still brought him in for a top 30 visit. which is why they selected him.
Yeah.
Maybe this is kind of the same situation with Kenneth Grant, just flopped over. They sent the DC, Terrell Austin, to his pro day, but they didn't bring him in for a top 30 visit. I don't know if that correlates in the same boat as Troy Fautanu, who just swap certain meetings. But perhaps maybe the Steelers are still eyeing a guy like Grant later on.
Yeah, they could be. I mean, I wouldn't close the book on it. I don't think the Steelers should close the book on it. Grant is a very good player.
Fingers crossed. Grant was my go-to initially. Right now, I'm heading towards Harmon just based off of interest.
Yeah. And that's just what we're really
Pondering on here.
Yeah, exactly.
Zach Long says Steelers are taking Milroe. It better be in the 5th, but he's not lasting to the 5th.
Don't reach on Milroe. Don't do that.
No. All hell will break loose in the studio if he has to pick tomorrow night. I swear to God. I swear to God. That better not happen, man. Dave in the chat. Let me see. Dave in the chat says, I live here by the Meadowlands, and I don't think the Giants are taking a quarterback with the 3rd pick. I want us to take a quarterback next year. Just adding fuel to the fire, man. You know, just never know. I don't think the Giants take a quarterback either.
I mean, based off the additions they did, Winston, Wilson, it's possible that they don't take one at number 3. I feel like they still could take one in this draft. Maybe not at 3. I don't know. I really don't know.
Dave,
Like, say that Abdul Carter is there. I mean, like, they're not going to pass up on that.
no.
They're not going to do
If
that.
Carter falls, yeah. If Carter falls, I think he's the pick.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing they might trade Thibodeau.
Really?
Yeah, I'm hearing.
I didn't hear about
Yeah,
that.
that's being circulated.
Oof.
I wouldn't do it. Thibodeau's
I mean,
great.
Thibodeau and Burns are a nice duo for the Giants. Though Carter is great.
Carter's generational.
Unless Hunter's there, but I don't really see the Browns passing up on Hunter.
Well, maybe they take Carter and Hunter's there.
Well, then Hunter's the Giant.
You sure?
The Giants ain't passing up on Hunter.
I don't know, man. They might.
The Browns will be the team to pass up on Hunter.
They could go on several other directions.
I don't know, man.
You never know.
That's why the draft needs to be here, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Noah says, "Hey twins, how y'all today? We're great. We're
Doing
doing
good.
great. We I don't know if you guys noticed, we fixed up some things in the background. It's not completely fixed, but we added a couple things. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we add the two Ben, what do you call them? Cards are over there right by Rob's head. I got the rings over by
Move your head.
over by my head,
Yeah, the Webster and the Chuck Noll pictures are kind of swapped.
and that is new. That's new.
Yeah.
And there's a beer can there, a beer can there, a beer can on the other side.
Empty bear cans, by the way.
Yes.
So,
This-
and a new template on the bottom.
New overlay, yes. So all kind of fresh setup for the draft, man. Trying to change things up, like to update the graphics every now and then, especially since the draft is here. Kind of get a new fresh look.
Yeah, change unlike the Steelers, sorry.
Dave says Arthur Smith sucks just like Tomlin. Ben Johnson, Kellen Moore, those are real OCs. Now both head coaches, obviously, in their first year.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Arthur Smith. I don't consider him to be a massive upgrade, but we're stuck with the same coaching,
Yeah,
folks.
I mean, like, I never was a fan of Smith when we hired him, but it's like, what are we going to do?
Right.
All we can really do is hope for the best and that they do something.
Yeah.
Deep down, I'll support them, but I'll critique them, honestly. Honest critique.
Dan Rooney would have fired Tomlin. May his soul rest in peace. And he's right here.
Yep.
Always had him in the background.
I feel like we need to get a true image, a bigger image of
For sure.
Dan Rooney
This
up
is
here.
when we were at Heinz Field, and I still call it Heinz Field. When we were at Heinz Field,
That's what it is.
so many years ago, we were at the Steelers Pro Shop that they built, and I bought this Dan Rooney shirt. It's the Dan Rooney patch with the iron shamrock,
Yep.
the Ireland shamrock
Yep.
on it
With
as
his
well.
initials on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, they actually have the what's holding up the Dan Rooney picture is that little pin, but I have an actual gold shirt of that pin, just in bigger frame.
Yeah.
And that picture came with it. I gotta get that shirt out. I might wear it tomorrow.
Yeah. You wear it out, could rock it out. Yeah.
See what happens. See how we're feeling. I might wear the Mason jersey tomorrow. I don't know.
You seen the picture of Mason Rudolph in the programs?
Yes, I have.
He looks matured.
That's my quarterback.
Yes, he is.
That is my quarterback.
If we had to ride with a quarterback, I'm running with Mason.
That
No
is my
BS.
quarterback until we draft somebody. Whoever, wherever, that's my quarterback. Are you guys expecting another one and done season? Yes.
Until proven otherwise, Andrew.
Yes, we are. I don't know if we even make the playoffs. We could not.
Watch
We
that,
could
swear to God.
not. So Until then, I'm going to expect the exact same result. At the end of the day, that's kind of our expectation for the Steelers this year. Kind of keep it very low standard or low expectation, and then whatever happens, just happens. You know what I'm saying?
Why would I expect anything else? Why would I expect anything further?
Exactly. I don't. I really don't. You want to talk about George Pickens?
Might as well get into it, huh?
Actually, first, let's talk about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, you know what? Since we're on the quarterback talk just a little bit, you know what? Yeah, let's start with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, there was a tweet from Diana Ruzzini
of ESPN. She put out right here. I got it.
Okay.
The Steelers, Browns, and possibly Vikings could be involved in a trade involving Kirk Cousins, sources say. Minnesota is looked at as the least likely scenario given their preference to favor J.J. McCarthy, and Cousins would need to sign off on any deal he's involved in.
Hard pass.
Kirk Cousins.
Hard pass.
Kirk Cousins, dude.
I don't care how cheap he might be. Hard pass. What does Kirk Cousins do for this team? No, thank you.
He may not cost a lot as far as trade capital goes, but what's his cap?
I don't think it's that crazy. I think the Falcons gave him most of his guarantees last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I didn't go into depth details of his contract, but either way, his contract wouldn't be a big concern because Steelers have some cap space to work with.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, what does Kirk Cousins do for us? What's the Steelers' infatuation with older quarterbacks that are past their prime?
Dude, Kirk Cousins was awful last year.
He was.
He was not good.
He's not good.
I can't remember what kind of stretch of games it was. I don't know if it was 5 or 6 stretch of games, but throughout that period, he only threw 1 touchdown.
How do y'all feel about a potential Kirk Cousins trade to the Steelers? Because I'm not all for that. I do not endorse that whatsoever.
Listen, he's 37 years old, or going to be 37. I don't know if he's 37 now. He's bound to be 37 years old, if not already. The $40 million cap hit, and Atlanta would have to take a $75 million dead cap hit.
Right. Shedeur is a linear thrower. He has to completely rework his mechanics, and there's no guarantee he will retain his accuracy, says Justin Watson. His 2.86 second time to throw last year was concerning, too.
If you're not down with that,
Tony Daniel,
we've got 2 words for
with a
you.
5, says, I will cry if we draft Jalen Murrow. He has a cannon with no locator chip. No, he's not a good quarterback. He's not. He's going to take at least two years to at least function the way he needs to as an actual NFL quarterback. Hard pass on Murrow. Not until the 5th, maybe. And as for what Justin said about Sanders, yeah, he holds on the ball way too long. Way too long. He's trying to extend plays a little too much. He's trying to make magic happen. He takes unnecessary sacks. That's my biggest concern with him, besides his ceiling.
And again, that's coachable, whatnot. But yeah, that's a huge critique.
Bewick says, would you guys like Manning? Well, that's not until maybe next year. Again, maybe. He's going to be in his sophomore year this upcoming season for Texas. Is he even going to declare? He could.
He hasn't played a full season of college yet.
We don't know how he's actually going to be. He could completely 100% swear jar shit the bed. We don't know. I don't think so because he has that Manning pedigree. He has that Manning, bloodline in him.
Or who's to say that he doesn't want to come back for yet another season of college?
He can go back for his junior year.
If that's what he wants to do. We don't know what's really in Manning's head. We don't really know how Manning's going to turn out. We all have aspirations and projections of Manning, but it's kind of hard to really say so if we haven't seen him play a full season yet.
Well, let's say we don't get Sanders. Let's say Sanders doesn't fall to 21. Let's say Manning has an incredible season this year, and then he goes into the draft. We trade up. Tom's going to go get him because he's a Manning.
If you're not down with that, we've got 2 words for you.
Lenora Sellers. Tony Daniel with a 5. Lenora Sellers, and he puts the shush emote. I don't copy. Not understanding exactly what you're trying to say there. Lenora Sellers?
Is that a player? I believe that is. Hold on a second.
Is that
quarterback out of
want?
South Carolina?
Is that who you want?
Lenore Sellers is a quarterback out of South Carolina.
I mean, he's a young cat. Very, very young, man. Again, how much longer is he going to be in the collegiate system, the collegiate program?
He's been with them for 2 years, and he's just come off a 2024 season where he was 8-3. 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions off 11 games.
I mean, I guess he'll be eligible next year, wouldn't he?
6'3", 245. The big dude. He's
I
a
gotta
big
look.
quarterback.
I gotta look at more film. I'll be real with you. I gotta look at a little
Alright.
more film. But he's a name to watch for because if we don't take a quarterback very high this year, clearly we're gonna need one at some point within the next year or two. It's a must for this team. If it's not this year, it's gonna be next year. Cousins went 5 games in a row before being benched.
That's what it was. 0-5, 1 touchdown, 9 interceptions. Yes, he was awful.
Hard pass.
He was terrible.
Hard pass. And he wasn't really the greatest with the Vikings. He's like, he's just one of those guys.
He wasn't, but I will say this. And it's more so credit to Kevin O'Connell. And Cousins last year, he was playing good. He was playing very good until he sustained an injury. Took him out for the rest of the year. He played half the season, was playing very well, but he suffered an injury, took him out. That was before he signed with the Falcons. Right? That's more so credit to Kevin O'Connell because Kevin O'Connell knows how to get the best out of his quarterbacks.
Right.
Did it with Kirk Cousins and Cousins' later years with Minnesota. He did it with Sam Darnold. Got Sam Darnold a $100.5 million contract. That's just a testament to Kevin O'Connell. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kirk Cousins, at this stage, he's a backup.
He's a bridge.
Just about 2 seasons ago, he was a very good regular season quarterback. Now at this stage, with the injury and just how he's played right now since leaving Minnesota and Kevin O'Connell, he's nothing more than a backup at this point.
Yeah, he's a bridge. Hard pass on Kirk Cousins. I'm not even entertaining his name, nor do I want to entertain Aaron Rodgers, and everyone's still waiting on his decision. Everyone's still waiting on the word from Aaron Rodgers. Thought it was going to be this week. It's not. Lord knows when it's going to be.
I have no idea.
It's not going to deter the Steelers away from taking a quarterback, no matter where that's going to be. But Aaron Rodgers is yet to make up his mind.
And who knows when he does.
And I don't want
As Mason is there, just rocking black and gold again, just getting ready to ride with the team.
That's my quarterback.
Yeah.
My quarterback.
That's the guy I'm running with.
You're not down with that.
Tony Daniel with a 5.
He says, I got to be honest, guys. Is corner really not in need with Slay being over the hill? He can't play man anymore based on what I've seen last year. He had a good year last year, but yeah, he's what, 34?
34 right now.
34. Yes. He'll be here a year. He's a Band-Aid. He's a rental. He's like a patch. He's just going to stick there until next year.
He's a Band-Aid, yeah.
I would think corner could be a pick they take early. I just don't know how early or if they ever take one at all.
Yeah.
Because of the needs that they have, the amount of picks they have. They don't have enough picks to really take everything, to fix everything, unless they trade back. Could corner be an option in the first? There's a specific name I really like.
It's a dark horse. It's a dark horse position, the possibility.
Yeah.
But because of the addition of Slate and Brandon Eccles, they added 2 corners, and they have depth, so to speak, that they could still rely on.
They have bodies.
I feel like it should, based off the additions and the depth, cornerback should not be taken off the board in general. But I feel like if the Steelers don't take a cornerback, they still be satisfied with the cornerback room.
Yeah, if there's one position they're going to put on the back burner, I would fear it's going to be corner. I still hope they take one early. Maybe it's in the first. Maybe it's 3rd round. Maybe they trade back and get a very good stud in the second. Could they trade back into the second, get a Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame if he falls based off of his injury last year? They showed interest enough to send Terrell Austin and some company to his private workout in Arizona on Monday. Just saying.
Yep.
There's some interest there, and they sent the house to a Notre Dame Pro Day. Again, they're keeping all options on the table. I just hope that they do address it. I just don't know if they do or where, based off of what they have at their disposal right now. Do you guys think 2017 was affected largely because of Ryan Shazier's injury? 100% yes.
Toward the tail end, absolutely.
The defense wasn't the same when he went down, and I guess it can still be stated the same way. Defense hasn't been the same since Shazier went down. Defense hasn't been the same since Tuitt left.
If you're not down
Yeah.
with that,
Tony Daniel, my God, bro.
got 2 words for
Tony
you.
D says, I think DJ Giddens gives me Lev Bell vibes.
I like it.
Just a little bit.
I like it.
I do see it. I love DJ Giddens. If we don't take running back in the first, if we don't trade back and get a running back in the second, I love Giddens at 83 if he's still there. Love Giddens. And they brought in 9 running backs for top 30 visits. 2 of them potential first rounders.
Yep, that's right.
They are keeping their hands absolutely full of options at the running back position. I love Giddens.
Hell of a player.
One of my favorite day 2 running backs.
Yeah.
For sure. Let's talk about Pickens. Let's move on to Pickens, chat.
Now let's get into the Pickens discussion. Yes.
Listen, this is. I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
This is an idea. This is a thought that people have kind of put out there. That's been, in speculation. That's just been in the air for a couple number of weeks, months, I would say.
But it's also one of those things that's constantly thrown out of there. That's been brought up.
It has never been a thought that I have never forgotten about. It has always been in my head. It's like, okay, I'm not opposed. What could we get out of him? If he goes, what do we do? Well, it seems like that those talks are starting to heat up. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to get traded. It doesn't mean the Steelers are actively shopping George Pickens, but they're obviously going to keep their ears open. They're going to keep their phones ringing. And teams, listen, the way I see it, if they are not pleased, if certain teams are not pleased with this wide receiver class, which it's not really the greatest. It's not. There's some talent you really love early on, but after that, it kind of falls. There's a lot of wide receiver needy teams. If a team doesn't like this wide receiver class, they could be very much willing to give up something pretty early for a guy like George Pickens, who, yes, is coming into a final year of his contract and will need an extension, and his contract eligible. His extension eligible right now.
Yep.
But do the Steelers pay him? Will they pay him? If they don't, or if they don't have plans to, maybe they are really starting to seriously consider trade options, especially given the options early on into the draft.
Yeah.
And the names they brought in for top 30 visits. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, where there is smoke, there is fire. And Jordan Schultz just this afternoon tweeted out right here, sources, multiple teams have brought up Steelers wide receiver George Pickens in trade discussions, and he is a name to watch this week. Pittsburgh isn't actively shopping him, but the conversations have taken place. Pickens is entering the final year of his rookie contract.
And I am here on foxsports.com with the article that he wrote discussing everything draft, discussing Carter, Sanders, everything regarding the draft, everything regarding day one, and of course, trade talks. Right here, as you'll see, it does state George Pickens is one intriguing trade name to watch. Pittsburgh has taken and made calls on the talented wide receiver who's now extension eligible. After paying Metcalf, league sources are skeptical the Steelers will pay two receivers. It's just not in their DNA to spend that much on two wideouts. The AFC GM said. Who he's talking about, what AFC GM he's talking about, we'll never know. Pickens is more available than people think. Green Bay's been serious, and they're not the only ones. Interesting. Well, it's obvious Green Bay needs a wide receiver. All they have is Romeo Doubs. They have Christian Watson, who can't stay healthy, and they got Jalen Reed, who's a stud. But outside of that, they need a receiver for Jordan Love.
They did.
And if you look,
They do.
if you look at their capital, you look at their options. Clearly, they have the 23rd pick. That could go to receiver. That could go to corner, maybe. I could envision corner. But after that, they have the 52nd pick and the 87th pick. If you're going to trade George Pickens, it better be something day two. You're not getting him for a bottom day two pick. You're not getting him for a pick next year and a day three pick this year. If anything, if you're going to get a pick next year, it's going to still be within the cost of getting a day two pick this year. So, for example, say they get a third rounder, maybe an early third rounder, then they can get a third next year as well if they wanted to. Either way, you're not trading him for any less than a day two pick. Preferably mid to late second round, early third round, in my personal opinion. That is what he's worth. Could a team do that? Again, depending on how they view the wide receiver class this year, a team could very well be willing to do it.
Not just how they view the wide receiver class, but just how they view George Pickens. Not only the player, but the person as well. It's really a matter of how they view George Pickens. It's a matter if the Steelers really want to take the chance on that, because the Steelers were scorching the earth, as many reports stated, for a wide receiver until they finally landed on DK Metcalf, thankfully.
Yeah.
Now they have two dominant receivers in George Pickens and DK Metcalf. It's something that they were trying to seek for last year when they were actively trying to get Brandon Ayuk.
Yes.
That's what they wanted. They failed. Now they got DK. Now they got exactly what they wanted. Now here is this discussion. Here's this debate. Here's this rumor or report now about George Pickens potentially being traded away, and the Steelers now being in that same boat that they were in just a year ago.
And that's the issue with trading George Pickens is you're literally in the same situation you were in, not just last year, but literally like 2 months ago.
We've got 2 words.
Tony D with a 5. Let me get to you, Tony. He says, what happened to Maxwell Hairston? I'm watching his film. Is a sticky guy in man coverage and electric speed. Am I missing something? No. I think what you're seeing is what you're going to get in Maxwell Hairston, and I think he could be someone that slots into the first. He's actually going to be at the NFL draft tomorrow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he were to be taken within the first round. The guy's a hell of a talent.
I think he's going to be a late day 1 selection.
If he does not get taken, he's for sure being taken early day 2.
I agree.
No doubt in my mind, he's that good.
He is. But regarding Pickens, listen, I was never opposed to trading him because you got to be honest. How often do the Steelers pay receivers? Now, I know this isn't the Steelers of old. This isn't the Steelers front office of old. This isn't the Kevin Colbert days.
No.
This ain't your daddy Steelers. They're a lot more open. They're a lot more physical. They're a lot more, immediate in that front office. They're a lot more aggressive.
I mean,
is the better word.
They were heavily involved in trying to claim a top wide receiver. It's something the Steelers never would have done.
Right.
Something Kevin Colbert never would have even looked at. Never even looked or smelled in their direction at all.
But would they pay 2 wide receivers big money? They pay DK 30-something million a year. Pickens is going to cost roughly 25. Roughly, at the least, I would think.
Probably.
So would the Steelers do that? Can they afford it? The answer is yes. Yes, they can. And if you look around the league, teams have done it before. The Dolphins did it with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. The Bengals just broke the bank for Higgins and Chase.
Hell, a number of years ago, who remembers the Chargers when they did it with Mike Williams when he was good and Keenan Allen?
But at the same time, you look at those, it's possible. But has it panned out for them? No.
Not exactly. At least not yet. Not yet.
Well, the Bengals to be determined. We know their defense is going to be
the
full.
Chargers, it didn't work out. The Dolphins, they're still trying to work that out, but so far it hasn't worked out. The Bengals is to be determined.
Yes, but based off of history, no, it doesn't work out. But the Steelers have some of their guys on defense locked up. They're not paying a big quarterback big money yet, not for the next couple of years. So they can afford it. They 100% can afford it, and the cap's only going to go up, and they need to invest more money into that offense. So they can do it. But will they? Do they like Pickens' character? Do they think he's ever going to mature? I personally don't. If he's not going to mature now, he never will. What you're going to get in Pickens is what you're going to get as a character. On field, he's phenomenal. I've always said, give him Josh Allen, give him Patrick Mahomes, give him Joe Burrow, even a Lamar Jackson, even like a Jalen Hurts. This guy's putting up 1,000-yard seasons every year. He is an immensely great talent. He's really good. Like, he's got that immediate impact wide receiver game day ability every single week compared to, all the other receivers that we've had to deal with, the day 2 receivers we had to deal with before Pickens got here.
We've got 2 words.
Tony Dinner with another 5 says, could we move Benton to the 5, bring in a nose tech? I'd move him to the 3, personally. He can work the 5, but working him a little more inside of the 3 is probably best. But yeah, they could do that and then bring in a nose tackle later on, say late day 2, early day 3, if they don't go D-line early.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly realistic possibility and probably a good one if they don't want to go D-line so early. D-line is very stacked in this draft class to do that.
It is.
They could even do one in round 2. Say they trade Pickens. They could use that to get someone really good like an Alfred Collins in round 2. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But there are trade talks. I'm not opposed to them, but it's going to have to be a very, very good trade compensation for the Steelers to give him up. And yes, it would put the Steelers back in the position they just were in just 2 months ago, last year, as we know. But they've also met with some of the top receivers in the draft. They met with Matthew Golden. There's interest with Egbuka, despite him not being brought in for a top 30 visit. There's interest there.
They took him out for a pro day dinner.
They have looked at 3 really good day 2 wide receivers. Jaden Higgins, who's actually getting first-round talks, Jalen Noe, and Treveyon Williams.
Yep.
They've looked at some names. Trey Harris from Ole Miss. Andy Waddle. Zach Asani was there at his pro day.
Yeah,
Options are there.
That's right.
Now, will those guys live up to a stature like Pickens? Could they live up to the same production as Pickens? To be determined. But at least you wouldn't be paying a receiver top dollar money. You can invest that anywhere else on the team.
Right.
But you are missing out on that elite playmaker. And I do think Pickens can be an elite playmaker.
Yeah, I mean, he's already showcased it. He showcased that with 3 different quarterbacks 2 years ago, right? He even showcased it early on with Justin Fields last year, right? Russell Wilson even, middle of the season.
Sure did. Tony Daniel with another 5. Appreciate you, big dog. Says, I really like Deion Walker out of Kentucky for a true 0. I think that's going to be his best role. Use him in early rundowns, using him in obvious short yardage situations. Just let him use that big frame to his advantage for sure.
Yeah. Walker's, he just sticks out.
He is a little raw, and there are concerns with his effort.
He sticks out as far as his intangibles does. I mean, like he's a bulky dude. Like he's a big guy, but he's a raw prospect. But like he showcases glimpses here and there. He's an intriguing prospect for sure.
Right. Old Head says Pickens' attitude issue is overblown hype. The media has the power to make you look bad like they're doing Sanders. That's fair. I'll give that to you, Old Head. That's very fair. Trying to rob Jerry Jones for the 12th. Give him GP. Yeah, the Cowboys could be in talks. They might take a receiver at 12. They could also go running back. They can go other positions. But yeah, if we can, listen, if you can get something that crazy for Pickens, goodbye. Adios, amigo.
I will say this and bring it up. He somehow was able to finesse the Bears and Ryan Poles for a 2nd-round pick for Chase Claypool.
Sure did.
Khan's done it before. He could potentially do it again. It's not out the realm of possibility. Do I think we get George for a first? No. But if the Steelers are going to explore trade options, if they're willing to trade George, GP, they're going to want a 2nd. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be their asking price.
Could I see them settle for a 3rd? Potentially.
Early 3rd.
But I know for a fact they're going to want a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah.
They're going to want a return after trading a 2nd for DK. They're going to want a return 2nd-round pick back. And what they do with that pick, that's to be determined.
It is.
From what they do, I don't know. I mean, they have looked at some of the top dogs at wide receiver, some of the better names for day 2 at wide receiver. So, it's a true possibility. I don't know exactly if the Steelers do so. Do I think they do it? No, I don't.
Right.
My gut feeling is that they don't trade George Pickens. They'll listen to talks. I mean, it's a business move. The NFL is a business. They're going to listen. Khan will listen. Do I think that they pull the trigger? No, I don't. Because I don't know if a team will be willing to trade up, especially at a high 2nd-round pick. I don't think a team's going to be doing that.
But why not?
Just because. Just because they don't want to. George Pickens is a hell of a player. He's a very good football player.
Maybe they look at his attitude issues, quote unquote, and don't find it as an issue. Maybe like, you know what, this guy is so good, we're going to give you an early 2nd-round pick or an early 3rd-round pick or a late 2nd-round pick.
That might be the case. That could happen.
And there are some teams that I did look into with certain capital or teams that could very well entertain potentially trading for George Pickens. One of them is obviously the Packers, based off of Jordan Schultz report. The Packers have picks 52 and 87. They could do that. How about the Chargers? We know they need wide receiver. Could they take one at 22 after our pick at 21? Very much so. But Chargers have 55 and 86.
If you're not down with that,
Tony D.
My God, Tony. Shout out to Tony tonight, bro, with a $10 super chat. I think Jordan Watkins is the sleeper wide receiver in this draft. Everyone is going to wish they drafted on day 3.
There's a lot of solid day 3 receivers, man. There really are.
Yeah.
Watkins.
There's some sleepers.
There's Theo Weiss. There's Jimmy Horn. There's Ricky White. There's Dante Thornton. I think I'm missing a couple. You got some options there, man. You really do. Yeah, I said the Chargers, the Texans. The Texans could very well take a receiver at 25. They might even trade up, but they also need offensive line badly, and they need receiver help. So could they trade for Pickens? And listen, they got 3 picks on day 2. They have the 58th, 79th, and 89th. They got some capital to trade away if they really want Pickens. How about the Raiders?
The Raiders need a number 1.
They don't have a number 1.
You could argue Myers is number 1. I think he actually finished with 1,000 yards last year with that quarterback room. But there's no doubt they need another wide receiver. They need 2 wide receivers.
And you think Pete Carroll doesn't want almost like another DK-like guy in Pickens? Obviously not as huge, but
but a deep threat,
similar build, similar playmaking ability
to pair with Geno Smith.
I'm gonna throw out the Raiders. They have picks 37 and 68. If they offer us the 37th pick, Khan better take it.
If you can get the 37th pick, GP with all due respect, man. I mean, you're not going to pass up on that.
How about the Patriots? Now, I know they could take Travis Hunter. I don't think Hunter's a wide receiver. He's going to play wide receiver, but he should more so play corner and then play receiver in situational spots. But they could take Travis Hunter if he falls, and that's a big if he falls. They could also take Will Campbell from LSU, tackle. They still need receiver. They have no receivers for Drake May.
They don't.
They have 38, 69, and 77. They got some capital to trade away too. And of course, the Cowboys. They got 12, which, I mean, we're not getting the 12th pick, but they have the 12th pick, and that could go to receiver. That could go to running back, maybe. They have 12. They have 44 and 76. I don't think it happens. But there's options out there. Teams are calling. Steelers have called those teams. It could be another draft day trade like they did with Martavis Bryant back in 2018.
Yeah, I remember
where they got
that.
a third rounder for him.
Yeah, thanks, Raiders.
Just saying, it could be a draft day trade.
Run the ball!
The possibility, man.
Shout out to Tony Daniel for becoming an STN member. Appreciate you, big bro. Tony D, man. Thank you very
MVPs
much.
for tonight, bro. Tony D.
All I'm saying is, don't rule it out. I have never been opposed to moving on. We'll see if it actually happens. At the end of the day, I don't think it does, but I did say the same thing about DK potentially being traded to the Steelers. I said I didn't think it was going to happen, and it happened.
If there's one thing that Omar Khan has taught me in, 3 years as general manager already?
Yeah.
Is that anything is possible and that the door is always open for anything to happen.
Anything.
I never in my wildest dreams could have thought that DK Metcalf would have turned out to be a Steeler, and here we are talking about him being the number one for the Steelers. I didn't think that Kenny Pickett would have been traded. 2 years into his rookie contract?
And I'm so glad he was.
I never thought that Kenny Pickett would have been. I never thought that Justin Fields would have ended up being a Steeler. Though it was for a year. I never thought that Khan would have dug into that poll. You get what I'm saying? Like, Khan, man, like, he is heavily involved in almost any option out there.
Right.
He keeps all doors open. All options on the table available for him, for the Steelers. So I'm not going to close the book on it. Unless it's for a second-round pick, unless he can find a way to finesse a team out of a second-round pick again, I don't see it happening. My gut feeling is telling me that GP will still be a Steeler. Do the Steelers look to extend GP?
Yes, I think they do.
I think if they don't trade Pickens, that's very telling of how they think, despite the character issues, how they feel about him as a player and how they feel about wanting to keep him around.
They are literally just looking at all their options. That's all they're doing.
Because they have DK locked up for 5 years.
They're doing their due diligence. They are doing business. That's all it is at the end of the day.
And they
Nothing's imminent.
They have DK locked up for another 5 years. And if they can figure out a way, if they really want to keep George Pickens, find a way to keep him for at least the next 3 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got DK and GP for the next 3 years.
Unbelievable.
The question is, yes, who's the quarterback? That really depends. But, I mean, you have your top 2 wide receivers locked down. It's not in the Steelers' DNA, but Omar Khan's done un-Steeler-like things. And so far, I feel like it's been for the better.
See, I would love GP to stick around and pair with DK. It's not that I don't. I would love for that to happen. I think that's an unbelievable dream duo. But if we can get something good out of Pickens,
the Steelers will listen.
They will listen, and they have listened. Doesn't mean anything's happening. Nothing's imminent, but all they're doing is business.
Yeah.
That's all they can do. Electric Visual says, I love our second-round pick this year. I think Metcalf will be great. Yeah, I don't know about you. That might be the steal of the draft for me.
I mean, he just sticks out, man. He's a hell of a player, dude.
Unbelievable. Digital Dust says, letting GP play out his contract in the free agency, he will get us a third-round comp pick if he signs elsewhere. Can't trade GP unless it's at least a high second. The issue with having him potentially walk, you would get a third-round comp pick, but that's not until 2027, and that could easily be canceled out if they make a splash in free agency. So if they don't have plans or they don't extend Pickens, might want to do something now. That's kind of my input there.
Yeah.
Pickens to Green Bay for Jair Alexander in their third. Move Slay to the slot. I don't know if Slay would play in the slot. He hasn't played slot much since his Detroit days.
No, since his earlier days in Detroit. That's been, 10 years now?
I mean, that was with Terrell Austin, though.
It was. I mean, Slay's familiar with Austin. Austin's familiar with him. They could experiment that. I mean, I don't think I mean, it's a possibility. I just don't think it happens.
Right.
Not at this late stage of Slade's career. But
Jordan Mid says folks are saying character DK does the same stuff. He gets in his own head all the time. You know, that's fair as well. That's a fair point as well. You could also look at it as, you know what, they're just competitors. They want the ball. They know they're good. Give them the ball.
their play speaks for themselves.
It does. Let's see. How's the chat looking? What quarterbacks do the Twins like, Dart or Sanders? We actually like both. Who do I like more? I mean, that's kind of a toss-up. Probably Sanders. But I'm not taking either in the first. That's just me.
I think Sanders is more ready than Tony D. My God. Tony D with a 5. If we don't win in the playoffs this year, do we trade the house, including Watt, and move up to top 3 for a quarterback next year?
No, they're not cleaning house. That's not the Steeler thing to do, my guy.
That I don't think happens.
I absolutely entertain the idea because I don't think this team is anywhere close to a championship. I don't think this team is anywhere close to playoff contention. I don't think this team is anywhere close to playoff win success. I would love them to just scrap everything, including coaching. That's just not in their nature. They haven't done that since the Chief days, Art Rooney Sr.
Yeah.
When he would literally box his own head coaches to see who would get a job. It wasn't until he found Chuck Noll and what's his name? Oh my God, it's a big old
Are you talking GM or something?
Yes.
Bill Nunn?
Thank you.
Bill Nunn.
Yeah, it wasn't until we found those two guys that
yeah, and he didn't have to box them. At least I haven't heard anything about that.
It wasn't until those two that spawned these.
Yep. I gotta tell you, not many coaches won against Art Rooney Sr.
Tears when we trade up for Drew Alar. Will not like it. Listen, I'm not heavy on Drew from Penn State. No, he made a great move by going back to Penn State. He needed to. The playoffs proved it. He's not ready.
It was a smart decision by Drew himself to return and try to work on his instincts and get better.
And I still think that wherever he goes in 2026, when he's drafted in Pittsburgh, wherever that is, I think he's still going to have to sit. But he's a quarterback option next year.
I mean, we'll see what he does for Penn State this upcoming college year.
Sure will. George Pickens unfollowed the Steelers on Instagram. See, I don't look into that as like, oh my God, like, who cares? So what?
I don't think that's a big deal.
They don't have to follow their team.
If you're not down with that, we've got 2 words for you.
Child of the Corn. What's up, Malachi? Says with a 199. Says draft defensive tackle, trade up in second for Dart and running back in the third. I wouldn't trade up for Dart personally, but I like the rest. If you can trade back and get a second and then Dart's there, I don't hate that. That way you're not trading up for him, and maybe he still does fall. I wouldn't hate that because that's getting him where he's valued, and then you can still sit him. Sit him.
Yeah, I mean, trading back and still getting a quarterback, it's something that we haven't really brought up, probably due to the fact that this quarterback class isn't great, and there's a huge possibility that those quarterbacks just won't be there.
Yeah, let's talk about it. What if we trade back in the first, get a second-round pick back, or a third-round pick, early third-round pick? Could we still take a quarterback in one of those spots, depending on who falls?
I think it really depends on who's on the draft board, or really how the Steelers project these players on their draft board.
Well, I'll give you the top 3 options for those potential spots. It's either Jackson Dart, depending on where he falls. If he falls out of day 1, Will Howard, or Jalen Milroe. Another one could be Tyler Shook, but I'm not the biggest fan of that.
I don't think he's day 2.
I don't think he is either. I don't think Milroe's day 2 either.
I could see people saying or seeing Will Howard as a day 2 selection. I could see that.
Yeah.
There's a lot I like about him.
And I just don't see Milroe making it out of day 2. I wouldn't take him day 2, but I'm just basing it off of...
I just don't see his play on the field outside his rushing and athletic ability. As a passer, he's not good.
I agree. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
realistic possibilities if that were to be the case. If they trade back, don't take a quarterback in round 1 and can still get one later on.
Right.
Say day 2.
Yeah.
That's a little more acceptable because at least they're not reaching.
Well, considering you...
And they got something back and they're not pushing another position on the back burner.
Yeah. Now, considering you brought up Dart, Howard, and Milroe, there's only one of those quarterbacks that they brought in for a top 30 visit.
Right.
That was Dart. Now, they did have a pro day dinner with Howard and Milroe, so I guess they didn't have to take him out for a top 30 visit because, I mean, they took him out to dinner. They got to chat with him. They kind of get a glimpse of how they are as a player and a person and whatnot.
Right.
So I guess you could say that counts as a visit, quote unquote. But, I mean, top 30 visit is very telling, especially when it comes to Omar Khan and company when they are doing the draft process.
Right.
But I don't think Dart falls.
I don't think he does either.
I don't think he falls that far. I just don't see it. Do I think he should? Yes. Because I don't think he's a first rounder. Dart is not a first rounder.
He's not a first rounder.
I see the talent. I see the upside, but it's going to have, you got to be patient with Dart.
Yeah, listen, wherever Dart goes, he has to sit. He's not day one ready. He doesn't know how to operate under center. He doesn't know how to operate or function in an NFL offense. He can't read a defense at an NFL level. There's a lot of issues with him.
He's got to
If
sit.
you're not down with that, we've got 2 words
Tony D
for
with it
you.
too. Milroe is Mike Vick legs with a Duck Hodges arm. And that is absolutely so accurate that I can't think of a better combo.
Yes. Yes. On point, Tony D. Wow.
That's hilariously accurate.
Wow.
Got to give that to you for sure. Couldn't have said it better myself, Tony.
Yep. Shout out to Duck Hodges, though.
Seriously, man. Trade Pickens straight up to the Jets for Alan Lazard and watch Aaron Rodgers sign. No, thank you. I would literally go to Pittsburgh and burn down the facility myself if they do that.
I'm not bailing you out. I'm not bailing you, bro. I'm sorry.
You know, maybe that's a little too much. I'm not gonna throw arson threats out there. That's not proper of me. I apologize. But that's just that would be awful.
No, it wouldn't be good.
That would be awful. Trade back for Harmon, then take Milroe and Ollie Gordon. I could see the Steelers definitely taking Ollie Gordon come rounds 3 or round 4 or 5. I just think he's too slow for what the Steelers need.
Yeah.
I think he's a tough runner. I think he's a trucker. He's like a slower Najee. Similar build, similar run style, just slower. Do we need that? No.
No, I think we need speed. I think we need true speed at the running back room. That's in an Arthur Smith system. That's what you need.
Man, I want Dart. Daniel Jeremiah just compared him to Jalen Hurts. I don't give a damn. No, I don't see Hurts. I see why he says that because he can run an RPO scheme. He can run an RPO offense. He can run the ball a lot. He's like I don't want to say he's like Josh Allen because he's not. He doesn't have as strong as an arm, and he's not as smart as a Josh Allen. But I see like a very, 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 very watered down version of like a Josh Allen and Dart. Like if he were to sit for a year and a half, maybe 2, maybe he can live up to that.
Yeah. I see why you say
But
that.
he's gonna have to go to the right scheme. Gordon is slow, speed and agility with vision and burst. Is that what you're saying? You don't win in the NFL throwing deep balls. I mean, that's what the Steelers tried to do, and it got him a plus 500.
It's enough. It's enough for them.
Electric Visual says GP for the 37th pick, Shedeur 21, Harmon at 37, and Elick Ailmanor at 83.
Alec Ayo Manor.
Elick?
Alec.
Oh, so it's A-L. A-O. Io Manor.
Yeah, believe me, I thought that too when I first seen his name.
I see. I think he's flying under the radar in a class that's not too crazy. I don't know if he falls at 87. If I had to give you a more realistic option, it's not who I would prefer, but Savion Williams, just based off of their interest.
Yeah. No, they haven't. I don't think they really looked a lot at Ayo Manor, but Ayo Manor is a very under the radar type of receiver.
And does Derrick Harmon fall all the way down to 37 just because of a shoulder injury? That's a steal right there.
If he does, that's great value.
That's a steal right there.
Humongous steal, dude.
But I think that's where we can definitely get into the discussion right here now, where we can talk about the first round talks because do you see Derrick Harmon potentially being a trade back option where the Steelers want a guy like Derrick Harmon, say he's there at 21, but they want to really trade back and get something in between rounds 1 and 3? Could they trade back and still get a guy like Derrick Harmon?
Well, now with this report about him dealing with a shoulder issue from Mike Garafolo, I could see that as a possibility because before the draft last year, it was reported that Troy Fautanu was dealing with knee issues, knee concerns, knee injury history, right? And that caused Fautanu, who was a projected top 10, even a top 15 pick, to fall to pick 20 for the Steelers, and the Steelers were able to take him.
Right.
Could the same thing happen to Harmon? It's a huge possibility. It's a high possibility. What the severity of the shoulder injury is, I don't know.
Right.
That probably won't be detailed, or that probably won't be reported. It's just the fact that he's dealing with a shoulder issue. But is it a option? Is it a possibility to trade back, get some capital in return out of it, and still get Harmon? That'd be great value.
I think so too.
That'd be hella value to get a guy like Harmon.
At the end of the day, come tomorrow night, whenever that's going to be, that's what I hope the Steelers do, is trade back and still get Harmon. That is the dream for me. That is the plan I think the Steelers should run with if he's still there. Derrick Harmon could still potentially be off the board by pick 21. Maybe the teams don't look at his shoulder injury as being anything of a concern because he was so healthy in his college career at Michigan State and then transferred to Oregon last year. Perhaps they view his medical concerns or his shoulder injury, according to Mike Garafolo, as a non-issue. Could he even be there at pick 21? Could he go to a team like the Cardinals, who had a top 30 visit with him? Could they take defensive line early with a guy like Derrick Harmon? Depending on who's on the board, I want to roll it out.
I don't think you can. And Arizona could use some defensive push, some youth there.
Right. But I feel like if you can trade back, like you say he's there at 21, and you can trade back and still get Derrick Harmon, I think that should be the plan. Otherwise, if you don't think he's going to be there, if you trade back, take him at 21 full flat out. Either way, I'm very happy with the Derrick Harmon selection.
Yeah. But if the Steelers feel confident that they can trade back and still get him, I mean, that would be a great first start for the draft for the Steelers.
Right.
That'd be great. I don't know if he falls though. Like, I know the shoulder issue and whatnot. I don't know if he falls, but despite the report, it's one of those things that I don't think is going to shy Khan and company away from selecting him.
No.
Whether that's at 21 or trading back and still getting him.
Yeah, because you know it's the same thing with Troy Fautanu last year.
Troy Fautanu, Peyton Wilson, his medicals pan out. Darnell Washington, that was reported 2 years ago. And we got him after trading back in the third.
Yeah, I don't think the medicals are a big concern when it comes to the Steelers, especially if they check out at the top 30 visits. If they're examined by the Steelers' medicals and their doctors and everything, the Steelers are going to clear them and highly suggest them as a potential option wherever they're sitting.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time Khan would take somebody in the trenches that is coming off of very late injury concerns or late reported injury concerns leading up to that draft.
Yeah.
I think Derrick Harmon is a very realistic option. If you want to trade back and still get him, again, I think that's the grand plan there. I think it's worth the gamble. Because say you trade back, get a second, get an early third, whatever, and then he's not there, it sucks. But at least you're getting that pick back, and you can still take whoever you want on the board, whether that's another defensive lineman, maybe the best player on the board, maybe that's a receiver, a potential running back. Maybe you go quarterback.
Yeah. And if Harmon wouldn't be there if we were to trade back, it wouldn't be the be-all, end-all. It wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, we know Harmon is a very good player and whatnot, and he would just fit like a glove with the Steelers' defensive line and whatnot in the trenches. I mean, he just models his game like a young Cam Hayward. You know what I mean?
I just don't see, based off of Derrick Harmon, I don't see him being a player that the Steelers are going to run to the podium. With Sanders, I see that. Harmon, I don't get the same vibes. I could very well be wrong.
No, I feel that way.
I just don't see Harmon being a guy that the Steelers look at him like, oh, we're not even thinking about anything else. We're running to the podium, which is why I suggest maybe trade back if he's still on the board.
No, I think they feel that way for Harmon, just based off of the interest, top 30 visit, how he models his game, his youth and whatnot, only 21 years old. They're going to want that youth and his dynamic to the defensive line.
For sure.
They're going to want that. I feel like that they would run to the podium with it, whether it's at 21 or trading back and still acquiring him.
Agreed.
But if Harmon's not there, if he's not the guy, again, it won't be the end of the world just based off how stacked and great this defensive line group is.
Right, because let's say Harmon's there at 21, they trade back, get whatever day 2 pick they can get back. Let's say wherever they're picking after trading back in the first round, Harmon's not there. They can use that second round, third round pick they got because they traded back and still use that on a defensive lineman very early to fill the trenches. Yeah. Certain guys could fall. It's such a stacked class. I think they could still get a very good piece along that defensive line for years to come. That's how good the class is.
Yeah.
So those are the options on the table. But me personally, as a Steelers fan, where we stand right now, Derrick Harmon is my go-to tomorrow. That's what I personally want as a fan.
And I'm right there with you. I mean, our flag's been stamped on that since we first really looked at Derrick Harmon's tape and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not taking that flag off. No.
But you also look at Shedeur Sanders, because I think out of everyone else, including Derrick Harmon, I think he's going to be the Steelers' top option.
Number one.
I think he's going to be the Steelers' top guy on their draft board. I think if he's there at 21, the Steelers aren't even thinking about anything else. I think if he's there at 21, he will be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Just being 100 blatantly honest. In fact, my final prediction for the Steelers pick tomorrow at 21 is Shedeur Sanders. I do think he falls. Could he not fall? Absolutely, he could not fall. He could go as early as the Browns. He can go as early as the Giants. But you also look at those two quarterback rooms. The Browns got, hilariously, Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. Could they run with those two guys with Deshaun Watson out all season? Just because they're the Browns, please do so. The Giants, they got Russ and they got Jameis Winston.
And Tommy DeVito.
Where does Sanders fit? And they're probably going to go elsewhere. Probably Carter, maybe O-line. They're probably not going to take a quarterback.
Or do they even stay at their respective picks? Do they look to trade back? Because they are receiving calls about trading back from 2 or 3.
I've heard that. And the biggest struggle is they got to find a team willing to trade up that high.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
But dude, like, whether that's Sanders or Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter for the Browns and the Giants, do they even want to do that? Preferably not. Probably not.
No, that's just too much good talent.
Yeah. I don't think any of them would want to pass up on that.
So you look at after the Browns, you look at after the Giants, you're looking at, obviously, the Saints. But all signs point to the Saints taking anything but a quarterback, and that does include Jackson Dart. They could take Jackson Dart over Sanders, though, at the same time. You never know. Based off of their interest at the Ole Miss Pro Day, they sent all of the offensive heavy heads and their coaching staff to the Ole Miss Pro Day. That was Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator, and their quarterback coach. Compared to Colorado, where all they sent was the quarterback coach and the receiver coach. I don't know how much that sways their decision, but it's worth noting. Could they take Dart over Sanders if they do take a quarterback? But the odds of New Orleans going quarterback seems dimmer now, knowing that Ryan Ramsey just retired and they declined Trevor Penning's 5th-year option. Could they go line? Could they go whatever else they need, which is everything?
Yeah. Saints got a lot of problems to fix. That's quarterback for sure, because Carr's not the answer. He's got injury concerns, and the cap hit is just enormous. Tackle, of course, cornerback, wide receiver, the future at running back, because Kamara's not going to stay there forever.
Right.
They got a lot to figure out.
A ton. Now, obviously, if he falls back past the Saints, the odds of him falling increase. Then the Shedeur Sanders watch is going to intensify like absolute crazy.
Yep.
However, could there be a team that trades back up into the first to select Shedeur Sanders because he fell so far in their eyes? Could that be the Browns? Let's say the Browns take Travis Hunter. You think they wouldn't want to trade up since they have early picks in the second? You say they wouldn't want to trade up and potentially grab a guy like Shedeur Sanders?
Get the Colorado duo together in Cleveland. I can see the Browns doing that.
What about the Saints? Maybe they trade up. They got some picks to do it. What if they want to trade up and go get Shedeur Sanders somewhere between picks 10 and 20 or 10 and 21? They got some extra picks in day 2, so maybe they trade back up into the first to go grab them. The only issue with that is whoever team that they trade with is literally going to have to trade away their first with knowing they're not going to get a first back this year. They'll probably get a first and some change the following years, just not this year. So would a team be willing to trade away that pick for those teams to trade up for Sanders if they know they're not getting a first round back this year? It's hard to envision it.
Yeah, it is.
So the odds of that seem slim. Possible, but probably not likely. So Shedeur Sanders could fall to pick 21.
And if he is there at 21, I do feel that he is the Steelers' number 1 choice.
Yep.
If he is there at 21, they're not going to waste any time. They're going to make the call to Sanders. They're going to make the call to Goodell. And they're going to have Goodell run to that podium and announce with the 21st pick In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado.
Agreed. That's what I'm feeling. That is my gut feeling tomorrow. It's not my first choice. It's not my preferred way to go. I would much prefer defensive line. But that's what speaks to me. That's what's my gut feeling. Is Shedeur Sanders will be the pick tomorrow at 21.
Yeah, same here. I mean, like, it's not hard to envision why, for one reason or another. The Steelers are going to want a guy like Sanders. Tomlin's going to want a guy like Sanders. But my preference is defensive line. But I know that the Steelers, I have a gut feeling that the Steelers will take Sanders.
Right.
It's just the case. It's just a situation. I wouldn't entirely hate it. It's just not my preference. I'm all about building the trenches. I'm all about focusing on the defensive line. If this quarterback class was any better, any different, and if Sanders stuck out to me a little bit more, I would have been like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But even then, if he stuck out more, we wouldn't even be talking about him being a possibility at 21.
Absolutely.
So,
And no, I'm not trading up for Sanders.
I'm not doing it.
I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary.
No. You're not trading up for Sanders. I'm sorry. You're not doing that.
No. Just because you're getting some comp picks back next year doesn't mean you can sit comfy and sleep nice and tight tomorrow night, knowing you trade those picks and knowing you're going to get some comp picks back. No, you don't trade up for Sanders. He's not worth it. He's not that good. Not in my opinion. But I think he's going to be the pick tomorrow. Steel Logic's in the chat. Shout out to Logic, man. Says, I personally think Sanders goes 21 if he slips. If not, I think we trade down for Harmon, Henderson, or Milrow. Please not Milrow.
I'm all for Harmon or even Henderson, not Milrow.
Yeah, please not Milrow.
Just our opinions, but what's up, Steel Logic?
People in chat are talking about Marion Hampton. Love Marion Hampton.
And North Kakalaki, bro.
Love Marion Hampton. And yes, I do consider him being a possibility for the Steelers. The only question is, does he fall? I don't think he does. It all really depends on where Ashton Genty goes, where he could go as early as
The Raiders with the 6th overall pick.
Maybe he doesn't make it to the Raiders.
No, because apparently there is debate, there is rumors that the Jaguars could be a heavy sleeper, which they're the pick before the Raiders at 5.
Right.
They could take Genty.
But it all depends where Genty goes. And then obviously what other teams need running back. Like the Raiders could take him as soon as top 10.
The Bears.
The Bears could take him at 10. What about the Cowboys?
The Cowboys need a running back for sure.
Or what's being mocked very, very popular is the Broncos at 20, right before us.
Yep, indeed.
I don't see Hampton falling. If he's there, listen, he's one of those guys that is just too good to pass on. Like he is a legitimate, and there's not many running backs, but he's a legitimate first-round running back. If you thought Najee was a first-round running back, this guy for sure is a first-round running back.
The guy's just got the size, the speed. He's a thumper. He's a trucker. He can make your ankles turn into spaghetti legs and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like
he's an overall, good. Like he's a legitimate. He's gonna be a legitimate playmaker in this league.
Now I will say his receiving back ability may not be as great. He may not have much experience as a receiving back, but I will argue that they have Warren to rely on, or even Kenneth Gainwell to rely on that.
Right.
You know, not to say that Hampton wouldn't have to be relied on as a receiving back. I think he's more than capable of being relied on as a receiving back.
Almost 40 catches last year.
Yeah. I think he's more than capable. Can't close the door on Hampton.
No.
Do I think he's there now?
I don't think so either.
I think there's a lot more running back needy teams that are going to look at Hampton and be like, man, we can't pass up on this guy.
But they brought him in for a top 30 visit. And you know what other running back they brought in for a top 30 visit that's just now getting late first-round talks? Treveyon Henderson out of the Ohio State. I want to take him at 21 because I think that's a bit of a reach based off of his injury concerns. But I think he is a very good running back. I consider him personally my number 3 out of the entire class. But I'd only accept Henderson in the first if they trade back and get him.
Yeah, but if they were to trade back, they cannot trade
too
after.
Far.
They can't trade too far. They can't trade after the Chiefs because Fowler reported this morning that the Chiefs have conducted a virtual call with Treveyon Henderson in which Andy Reid was a part of that call. And Henderson is considered a riser, and the Chiefs, who could be looking for more explosion in the backfield, are doing late homework on the position.
Right.
If Henderson were to go to Kansas City, I mean, that would just be unfair. That would just be filthy.
No yeet.
No yeet. I would not like that. That would be a hell of an addition, of course, by Kansas City, but nobody wants to see that
at
all.
And listen, based off of the Steelers checking off the boxes in the Steelers checklist. Typically, what the Steelers love about their first-round options, and this was very consistent with a lot of their picks up until last year with Fatanu. They like the combine meetings, the formal meetings. They like a top 30 visit, and they like sending the house to that person's pro day.
Or even taking them out to pro day dinners.
Treveyon Henderson is the only player out of this entire draft class that the Steelers have met with and shown interest with that checks off everything. So I think he is a legitimate option in the first. My preference is you trade back, get a second, third, and take him with your late first. That's what I would do.
I would do that too.
If they want to take Henderson.
I would do that too. And listen, the only way I see Henderson really being the pick in the first round for the Steelers is if they trade back. And the only way they trade back is if Sanders is gone or even if Harmon is gone.
Right.
Though they could trade back and still look at Harmon as an option, but with this shoulder injury, that's a possibility. But a guy like Henderson who's checked off all the boxes, they look to trade back and still look to be in front in Kansas City. I think Henderson could be the pick if they were to trade back. And I would not hate it if they were to get an additional day 2 pick out of it.
I would much prefer him day 2 personally. I just don't see him making it out of the first.
No,
That's like I say that about a lot of prospects, but that's why these prospects are getting such high talks. I just don't see them falling out in night 1.
I mean, you just look at Henderson's tape. It's really not hard to see why.
It is.
He's a late riser. It's understandable why, based off his talent, based off what he can do. Despite the injury concerns and whatnot, the guy's a hell of a talent, full of upside. He's a do-it-all back. He's got everything you would want.
Eric in the chat says, I'm an Ohio State fan, and I'm not a fan of Henderson. He lacks vision. He actually thinks Quinshon Judkins is better.
That's his opinion. I think Henderson's the better back, but, I can understand that. Everyone's got their preferences. Everyone's got their differences. Some people think that Judkins is the better back.
What I will say about Henderson is his biggest pros is his burst, his long speed, his pass protection, and his receiving upside, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be all the tools that they see in a running back that the Steelers won't deter from. They see that in Warren, but he's just like a faster Warren.
Mm-hmm.
Warren's got better vision in that sense, though. So, and that's why Warren, no matter who's the running back, I think Warren will still be the RB1. Like he'd be the guy to get early down reps.
He'll be the opening day starter.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Steel Logic in the chat says, would y'all be open to Jackson Dart if he's there at 21? No. Not at 21.
I don't consider Dart as a first rounder. I don't have a first round grade on him.
Just like Henderson, I'd rather take him day 2. I don't see him falling out of night 1.
Neither do I.
But the Steelers, they're going to show interest. Jackson Dart was a top 30 visit and a combine meeting, and they sent Andy Weidel to his pro day.
Yep, that they did. So they're looking heavily at Jackson Dart.
They are.
They are.
My issue with Jackson Dart is he's not a first rounder.
Based off the tape that I've seen, nothing popped out about him.
Nothing about his tape wows me.
I've seen glimpses of the upside. I've seen it with his arm talent, his ability to scan the field and whatnot. But he's got to sit. He's got to sit. Just based off the tape, he's not a first rounder.
I'll be real with you, bro. None of these quarterbacks wow me. Like,
No.
I'm not pounding the table.
No, we
for
talked about that throughout the week.
Not even Sanders. Not even Sanders. None of these guys really make me want to. We gotta go get this guy. I'd rather take them day 2, but none of them are falling day 2.
No, we mentioned, I think it was last night or whatnot, that the quarterbacks that really caught our eye more so were guys like Will Howard, Tyler Shook, and even Kyle McCord.
Yeah, but those are day 3 backup options only.
Yeah, that might just be our preference of us wanting to prefer the Steelers to look at day 3 quarterbacks and draft a quarterback day 3.
Well, that goes on what we've said all season. This quarterback class isn't the class to take somebody.
No, it's not. You're right.
Like, I honestly think that Sanders and Dart are going to be overdrafted. I think they're overrated.
None of the earlier options stuck out to me.
No.
I see the upside. I see the glimpses. Sure, they're there. But are they first-round talents? Not in my opinion.
I just can't, encourage the idea of taking a quarterback so early. But at the same time, they're show interest, so you got to bring them up. We got to bring them up.
They are the top prospects, right?
So we mentioned Sanders. We mentioned Harmon. We just talked about Dart. We talked about Henderson. We talked about Marion Hampton. Let's talk about Matthew Golden.
Texas cat, bro.
Is another guy on this list. I just don't envision being there, but you never know.
Well, they Met him at the combine and had a top 30 visit.
But will he fall to 21? I mean, he's arguably the wide receiver 1. I've heard some people say he's better than Ted McMillan.
I think some people actually have him over Ted McMillan.
He could be the first quarterback, wide receiver off the board. I mean, he could go to teams like the Dallas or Arizona. Maybe,
you know what?
Maybe the Seahawks.
You know what? You mentioned I could see Golden as a Dallas Cowboy. In some weird way, I could see Golden being the Cowboy.
I can see him wearing the star.
Yeah.
I could also see him as a Cardinal. I could see him as a Seahawk. I could see a team like the Chargers or the Texans or even the Packers trading up to get him if he falls enough.
Yeah. That's just how good Golden is.
Let's say he falls so far enough down to pick wherever the Seahawks are. 17, I think.
I can check.
I forget exactly where they pick. Wherever the Seahawks pick.
18.
18. I could see a team trading up to pick 17 to get him if he falls that far. But does he fall that far?
Based off the talents, I don't think he does.
I'll also put it this way. If he falls that far at pick 21 and talks with George Pickens about him potentially being moved and traded, let's say some of it escalates. Let's say some of it intensifies a little bit before and during the draft, and Matthew Golden is still there. If the Steelers can get good compensation out of George Pickens that day or the day after, I think they look at Matthew Golden if he's still there. That's arguably best player available.
If he's there at 21, you can make a debate about that.
And if you're thinking of a replacement for Pickens, look no further.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, I like Egbuka too. He's an honorable mention, but look no further. But that's only if he's there, which I doubt. I doubt Golden's there, but if he is, he'd only be in this serious consideration if they know that they can move on from Pickens with getting good comp out of it.
Yeah, whether that's trading him throughout the draft that they can get a extra day 2 pick out of Pickens, or if they can't come to an agreement on a contract extension, they just let him walk.
Jake says Matthew Golden will be drafted by the Jags at 5. Well, they just drafted Brian Thomas last year. I mean, they could take 2 straight receivers.
They don't have... No, Christian Kirk got traded to the Texans.
Yes.
They don't have another wide receiver.
They don't. They could take Ted McMillan. They could take Ashton Genty, is what's being reported. They can go anywhere.
Yeah. Golden could end up being a Jaguar.
I'm going to throw it out there because, you know, some guys fall that you wouldn't expect, like the past couple years. Christian Gonzalez, Quinshawn Mitchell, Brian Thomas last year. Certain guys fall. You just never know. I'm going to throw them out there as a potential option, especially with this George Pickens news just now picking up.
No, it's good to bring it up. The Steelers have shown heavy interest in a guy like Golden. It's not hard to see why. The guy's a blazer. The guy's fantastic.
Golden to Dallas, I do see that. At the end of the day, I do think that happens.
Do I think Golden is there at pick 21? I don't. But if he's there, I think it would have to be in serious consideration.
Eric says, I like Jaden Higgins. We brought him in too. We did. We brought in both Iowa State cats. I prefer Higgins based off of size and explosiveness there, but could Jaden Higgins peak up into the first? I'm not saying he's going to be an option for the Steelers.
I can see him being a late first rounder.
I think so too. Maybe a team like the Chiefs take him. Maybe, who else is there later on?
Later on is Green Bay. That's a possibility.
At 23?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
What about the Bills? Bills need receiver.
Bills are up there, right?
Bills need some serious receivers. I could see him peeking up into the first.
I would hate it if he turned into a Raven. I don't want to see that at all.
Dinner with Jay-Z or draft Bill Crosby or Crosby.
What the
Cosby?
heck? What? What? None. Neither. Pass.
Put me on the spot here.
Pass. No. Ain't doing that.
Neither. How about that? I'll go option C. Neither.
Nope.
How about Trey Amos or Amos from Ole Miss? This is more of if all the options fall flat. This is more if they trade back and all the options fall flat. I'm gonna bring up Trey Amos here from Ole Miss because one, Andy Waddle was at his pro day. Ike Taylor was at his pro day. You know he peaks at the defensive backs. And he was brought in for a top 30 visit. That's about the extent of their interest. But if they want to go corner potentially, maybe to replace Slay and have a later option for after Slay next year, you could do that with Trey Amos from Ole Miss. Again, this is only if they trade back and all the options aren't there for them. like Sanders, like Dart, like Harmon, like whoever. I'm just going to throw him out there as like not exactly a dark horse, because at the end of the day, I don't think Amos becomes a Steeler. But I'm going to throw him out there just based on the fact that there is a little interest, and they have shown a little more aggressiveness towards the cornerback position later into the draft process than I thought they would.
Yes, that they have. And I will say over the past 2 seasons, the Steelers did have a top cornerback fall in their lap. A guy like a Christian Gonzalez, a guy like a Quinshawn Mitchell, thank you. And they took, of course, the starting tackles that we have right now. A guy like Trey Amos is lockdown capable.
Absolutely.
He's very good. He's got the size. He's got the stickiness. He's good at man and zone. Like, wherever the ball is, I mean, his eyes are on it completely.
Agreed.
Every snap, every time.
He is lockdown potential. Great frame, great ball instincts, good, strong in coverage. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they even look at corner very early anymore based off of the numbers and the bodies they have and the guys they brought in via free agency at the cornerback position. I don't think it's going to happen. I just base it off of maybe they trade back far enough that all their other options just aren't there. And they look at this guy and like, you know what? Let's go defense for the first time in 6 years in the first round.
Yeah, but I don't think that happens. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I'm right there with you on they brought in Slay, they brought in Eccles. I feel they're comfortable with the depth. I don't think corner would be the first round selection if they were to trade back. Though it's fine to throw it out there. It's fine to bring it up because, you know, they've shown the interest. Andy Waddle of all people, and like you said, Ike Taylor, they got a glimpse of him in the workouts and whatnot at the pro day. I mean, that's very telling in my opinion.
Well, if we're also looking at first round names based off of their top 30 visits, that's all the names.
Yeah.
Sanders, Harmon, Dart, Henderson, Golden, Hampton, Amos.
7 names. 2 of them are quarterback.
And no Kenneth Grant. They didn't bring in Kenneth Grant.
No.
They did send Terrell Austin to the Michigan Pro Day, but that's about the extent of it. They sent Austin to the Michigan Pro Day, and they had a combine visit with him, but no top 30 visit.
No.
That doesn't rule him out, but I'm going to put him as an honorable mention.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those names that you got to throw out there as an honorable mention. I mean, a stud, great player. I mean, we liked him a lot. You know,
Still love him.
But especially early into the draft process, just 3 weeks ago, I would have figured for sure the Steelers were going to show heavy interest, just like they did with Harmon, heavy interest in a guy like Grant and bring him in for a top 30 visit. They didn't. Not even a Walter Nolan either. When he might not be there at 21, but you know they sent Waddle to his pro day. They brought in J.J. Pegues, his teammate, for a top 30 visit, but not Nolan. No,
not Nolan,
and not Grant.
Not Grant either. But those are honorable mentions because I don't want to roll them out. Just because they didn't bring him for top 30 visits, it doesn't erase them completely. Maybe it's like Fatanu last year, just different versions of meetings. They didn't send the house to Fatanu's pro day, but they did bring him for a top 30 visit, and that's all they needed. Maybe they met him enough at the combine. Maybe they met him enough at the pro day that they didn't feel like they had to waste a spot at top 30 visit because they already saw enough. Could be as simple as that. Same thing could be said for a number of positions and names at running back, receiver, especially quarterback. Like I could have bet some good cash that Will Howard or Jalen Milroe would have been top 30 visits, and none of them were.
Nope.
But that's not going to completely erase the Steelers from looking their direction. I think they saw enough from those guys at the pro days, at the combine. So same thing could be said for Nolan. Same thing could be said for Grant. Same thing with Emeka Ibuka, if they still want to go receiver later. How about a Jaden Higgins later on? If they trade back far enough, they like Higgins, they brought him in for a top 30 visit. Just putting it out there.
Can't close the book on that.
Those are some of the honorable mentions, in my opinion.
Oh, I'll even throw out, if they want to trade back late into the first, maybe a Darius Alexander. He's a guy that's been getting first-round talks.
Late first-round talks,
Late
yes.
first-round talks. You know, they brought him in for a top 30 visit pretty late. And it's not hard to see why, again. You know, he is a bit on the older side when it comes to defensive line. But
25 years old.
I do feel when it comes to certain ages, especially at the defensive line, they could play for a set amount of years.
I could very well see this guy being an Eagle. Seems like the
Honestly,
most
I think
Eagle
that's
selection ever.
I think that'd be a perfect fit. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that. They lost some names, so yeah, I mean,
they brought him in for a top 30 visit. Again, that also goes to show you some of these names, they might not be taken day one. They could fall into day two. They could fall enough into day two that, let's say they do trade back. The Steelers trade back from 21. They can get some serious compensation later on, early day two, to the point that some of the guys they did bring in for top 30 visits fall enough that they still consider those guys great value at that pick that they got for trading back. Maybe that could be a Higgins. Maybe a Darius Alexander. Maybe a Jalen Noel at wide receiver. Maybe a bunch of the running backs they brought in. Sampson, Giddens, Caleb Johnson, right? A bunch of those names.
Right.
Even at the quarterback position. At corner, safety. They can go any direction. But they're really doing their due diligence, and who they brought in and where they're projected really tells a story that maybe them trading back is more of a realistic option than we think. We always throw out the idea every year, and I don't think they've done it in, 20-something years. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But
I think the last time they did actually is 2001.
it's been a while.
Yeah. Wasn't that when we drafted Casey Hampton?
Maybe. I'd have to go into the
I
history
feel like
books.
that was the year we drafted Casey Hampton.
Now I'm gonna have to search it up.
Maybe history repeats itself?
Maybe, especially at the nose tackle position. But if there's a year for them to trade back, I think this is the best way to do it, the best year to do it. There's a prime opportunity, the Steelers can do it here, especially since they don't have a second-round pick.
Yeah.
So, chat, I'm going to put a poll in for you guys because I feel like, first of all, update on the poll, over 200 votes. 43% say Derrick Harmon will be the pick in the first round and not Shedeur Sanders.
Close second, though, with 39% is Shedeur Sanders.
Wow, interesting. I'm going to get a new poll in the chat here that says, will the Steelers trade back in the first round?
Get your votes in the chat, guys. As soon as the poll is up, get your votes in the chat.
Ultimately, no, I don't think it happens.
You don't think they trade back?
No, I don't, but I highly encourage it. I would.
It's one of those things that, yes, the Steelers should highly consider. I would say it's adamant to consider.
I agree.
You don't have a second round pick. You don't have a second day two pick in general. It's something that you got to consider. Depending on who's on the board, sure. But even whoever's on the board, maybe they could still fall back into late first round, or you can still get a good high value pick in the first round.
Right.
As long as you get a day two pick, right? I would love it. I think it's adamant they trade back. That is if they can find a trade back partner. If a team is willing to trade up. For who, depends on who's on the board. For what position, depends on what the need is.
Trade back, draft Harmon with the late first, draft best available running back quarterback in the second, says Isaac. I love that idea. Low key, that's what I really hope they do. If we take Sanders, what number will he wear? Well, we can't wear 2 because my boy Mason's wearing it. Probably, what's available? 3?
3's available.
3's available. Give him 3.
I guess.
If not 3, what else is available?
4? Is 4 available?
I don't see him wearing 4. 11? Isn't anyone wearing 11?
I don't think anyone's wearing 11.
It's kind of an ugly number for a quarterback, isn't it?
Won't be the first time. Would not be the first time. I don't know.
Would trade back and get a second, says Craig. I agree, Craig. Digital Dust says, yes, Higgins after a trade back would be nice. I agree. And if they do take a receiver, whether that's 21, whether they trade
That's
back.
right, DK is 4. My bad, not to interrupt you. That's right, DK is 4.
Oh, you know what? I forgot that.
That's right. You're right, my bad.
I forgot that.
He's going to rock that number, by the way.
Eric says, well, night, guys. Thanks for doing what you do. Hopefully we get Hampton or Harmon. And if we trade GP, it's at least for a second and we get Higgins. Going to watch the rest of this Cavs game. Eric, appreciate you.
Shout out to Eric, man. Enjoy the Cavs game. That's right. The NBA playoffs are underway.
Can y'all chill with GP on following the team? He has never followed them. Like, bro, chill. Listen, I don't know why people looking at it like, oh my God, he's being traded. No, he's not. Like, that's not the end all be all, bro. Like, I don't know why.
That's the main story.
Like,
oh my God. That's the main reason why the Steelers are trading George Pickens is, oh, you unfollowed me off Instagram.
Dude, they do that with everybody. Oh my God, Patrick Mahomes unfollowed the Chiefs because he never was. Maybe he is. I don't know.
Or maybe he did, but he just unfollowed because maybe he's trying to stay away off social media.
Listen, I don't scroll through people's likes and their
Who does
follows.
that? Who does that? Like, who cares? Whoopie freaking do?
That's just me. I trust and believe in Omar Khan. He knows what he's doing, says Old Head.
I hope so, man. But the GP not follow. It's a non-story. I think people are just trying to make stuff up. It's a non-story.
If Shedeur is gone, then move back, says Jordan. He also says if Sanders is there at 21, get him. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it really depends. Let's say Shedeur's gone. If Harmon's there, I don't know what the team does. They could take him flat out or they could trade back. If both are gone, I have no doubt in my mind they're trading back.
Not going to lie, though. Come tomorrow night, within 24 hours, if Harmon's there, I'm probably going to be pounding this table and selecting Harmon.
Me too.
We'll see, though.
Well, obviously, if Sanders is there, we know who they're selecting.
If Sanders is there, yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Otherwise, yeah, but if Sanders is gone, Harmon's there, I think Harmon's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or could he not be? Damn it! I need the draft to be
here's the
here
way
in
I say
24 hours.
Based off the names that we brought up, here's where I rank. If I had to rank them, here's where I rank them: 1, Shedeur Sanders; 2, Derrick Harmon; 3, Jackson Dart; 4, Treveyon Henderson. I would say 5 is Matthew Golden; 6 is Omarion Hampton; and 7 is Trey Amos.
Okay.
If I had to rank them, that's where I rank them. Rank them as far as where Steelers are probably looking to select them.
I agree. Slowest week of my life, says Electric Visuals. It's actually one of the fast ones for me. And that's only because we're on vacation. Vacation flies.
It do.
But you know what? It's for a good cause because 24 hours from now, we'll be live watching the NFL draft. And Lord knows who will be walking the stage at this time in 24 hours from now.
It's going to be a crazy night, bro.
It's going to be an awesome night. I cannot wait. Old Head says 11 is not a bad look, but I can see Sanders paying Mason for 2. He gonna have money. Patrick says, walk away from Rodgers. Save yourselves from a big mistake. He will ruin your team. Starting from the inside first, says a Jets fan. Patrick, I feel sorry for you.
I was going to say, look at the Jets, bro.
Listen, I tip my hat. Respect to you for everything that you put up with.
No, the Jets. What did the Jets trade away? Was it like a 3rd-round pick for Devontae?
Does anyone?
He was there half a season, then they had to deal with the money.
Does anyone even realize that we have Roman fucking Wilson on this team and that he was one of the elite wide receivers coming out of the 2024 draft? No one forgot.
I'll swear to that.
I didn't forget.
No, I'm excited to see what Roman Wilson can bring to the table.
I think he's going to be the future slot guy for when Calvin leaves because I don't think Calvin returns.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get a decent pay that the Steelers won't want to up or meet.
If he's healthy, if he's good to go, the Steelers need to use him. Straight up.
Do you guys think if we draft Jackson Dart in the first, it's Kenny Pickett all over again? Not by the player, but by the mentality and by the panic of selecting quarterback? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Steelers Twitter will explode if Saints pass on Sanders. Oh, you already know. Because all that is now is just a waiting game.
Yep.
That's all it is.
You'll be seeing all sorts of like eye-open emotes or GIFs and whatnot of like, oh, here we go.
With the 9th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, New Orleans Saints, somebody that's going to have to deal with a lot of garbage from whatever college. And then everyone is going to be on the Shedeur Sanders watch, and it's all just pick after pick after pick after pick with emotion and feeling and hype or maybe even displeasure from some people.
At that point,
just increasing after each pick.
At that point, everyone would be on the edge of their seat throughout the whole time up to 21.
I can't lie, man. It's not my preferred choice, but I will be because it's an intense watch and everything is intensifying as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people are starting to get their hopes up. Like, hey, Sanders could fall.
Well, it all started after the top 30 visit.
Yeah.
And then
that was what, 2 weeks ago?
It was. And then obviously you hear what the Saints are doing and what's going on over there, and now everyone's really getting their hopes up. And I don't think it's all for false hope. I think it's a realistic possibility. I do.
Now,
like the more as we inch closer, the more I think it's actually going to happen. I do.
Now is that just the media getting to you?
No.
You actually feel that way.
I do. Like I said,
See, 'cause
it's
it-
not my preferred choice. That's just how I feel.
See, I can also see it as the media just blowing stuff out of proportion. You know what I mean? Because, again, it happened to Malik Willis. Everybody thought Malik Willis was the guy. I thought he was the guy, and
Right.
he wasn't.
Jake says 1 Sanders, 2 Dart, 3 Milrow, 4 Golden, 5 Nolan, 6 Grant, 7 Hampton. No Harmon? No Harmon? Jason says, I hear Harmon is going to fall because he has some health issues. Yeah, according to Mike Garafolo, it's a shoulder injury.
Yep.
Where that came from, we don't know. But he participated at the NFL Combine. He participated at the Oregon Pro Day. He met with the Steelers for a top 30 visit. All fine and dandy, as healthy as he can be. And now this pops up. Crazy, crazy stuff,
Yeah,
man.
it's going to be another one of those draft watches for sure.
Anyone figure out how to stop the Ravens' run game yet? No, I don't think anyone has.
No.
I know we haven't. And no one really has because Henry went for what? How many yards last year? Like 16, 1,700?
That was like 18.
1921.
Okay. I mean, listen, I was
He
closer.
almost had 2K again.
I was closer, so.
Wow.
Yeah, he ran a lot.
No. So literally, no one has been able to stop the Ravens' run game.
Nope. Just like no one's been able to stop the Eagles' run game. Yep. It's dominant.
I'm still following the Steelers on Instagram, by the way. I am too.
Yep,
I
we
am too.
are.
If I unfollow, does that make me a fake fan? Am I being traded to another fan base? The value of Sanders being there at 21 will be too hard to pass up since we need quarterback, but he won't be there, says Digital Dust. I cannot lie. The value there is from what he was projected is crazy. Because we thought, oh, this guy's going to be the number 2 overall pick. No, he's not.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be. He's not. Like my gut feeling is he won't be taken whatsoever in the first 20 picks. So the value based off of that and his projection, yes. I still want defensive lineman though. I'm not changing my tone.
Nope, neither am I.
I'm not changing my tone. I'm not changing my opinion whatsoever. Based off of the poll, will the Steelers trade back in the first round? 56% of you guys say no, they won't. I agree. I don't think they do. I think they stay put and take Sanders or stay put and take Harmon or stay put and take whoever else could very well be available on the board.
Yeah, they could.
Sanders will be selected with the 33rd pick to the Browns. Yo, imagine he's there at 21 and the Steelers don't take him.
I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they don't take him at 21. Say it's Sanders and Derrick Harmon, they take Derrick Harmon. I'd be shocked, but at the same time, I'd be happy.
Listen, I just don't see it happening, but just imagine.
I don't see it happening, though.
I don't either.
I think Sanders is it.
All I know,
I don't know how many times I gotta
is a lot of the fan base would go absolutely crazy. It would be a meltdown all over social media. They will take Shuck with the 21st pick. That would be terrible.
No.
That would be terrible.
No, I don't think they will. Let's not do that.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Roman, Troy, and Holcomb will bring this season. If they stay healthy, yes. I think they're all capable of being very good for this team. I mean, Holcomb, his first year was until he got hurt. Now he's getting back. He's rehabbed well. They gave him a good contract cut, but ensured that, everything would be covered for his medicals and everything. They honored him very well this past offseason.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get him back in rotations.
Yeah, same here. I look forward to seeing how Holcomb and his recovery is and what he can bring to the table.
Right. Let's see. Shall we do an NFL mock draft? Should we do a full first round mock draft or just a Steelers mock draft? Because we did one the past 2 live streams, the past 2 days. Should we do a full first round mock draft or a Steelers mock draft? Or both? Let's know your guys' thoughts in the chat. I'm cool with either. Maybe JJ Pegues with the 21st. No, he's not going in the first. Come on, bro.
All right, you guys are just trolling now. He's not a first. I like him. He's not a first rounder. Far from it.
Everyone's saying full first. They should trade back. Steelers both. All right, here's what we're gonna do a full first round first, and then we'll see how it looks. We'll see how the chat feels. So we're gonna transition here. All right, I see some people in the chat saying both. All right, we're here on Pro Football Network. All right, now should we do Pro Football Network or should we do PFF? All right, Chad, I got you. We're gonna do a full one, and then we're going to do a Steelers one, just to have some fun. Your super chat isn't working. What does that mean? It's not working? It's not sending? It says Handy Cart Mexican. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why that's the case.
All right, so you guys want to use PFF. We will indeed use PFF. PFF.com.
Start mock.
Start mock. Select your team.
No, start draft.
Go away.
Don't click it. There you go. God damn.
No, not Steelers.
Select all. Select all. Round 1. There we go.
All right. Enter. We are going to start. We're going to start, and we're going to take Riley Leonard. No, we're not.
Who?
I don't know. We're going to take Cam Ward. Where's he at?
You got to go to quarterback. There he is.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to go Cam Ward because, duh. All right, chat. This is where it gets interesting.
The Browns.
The Browns.
Why we get the picks for
Do
the
they go
Browns?
Hunter? Do they go Carter? Do they go Shedeur? Highly doubt it. Hunter. I see you guys saying Hunter.
Go Abdul Carter for fun. Cody Khan says Travis Hunter, then Carter. Yeah, I think that's the biggest possibility. I think I see that. I don't know, more people saying Hunter. Yeah, I see. You know what? I mean, I just see Hunter being the guy, man. I do. I mean, listen, the Browns are the Browns, but I don't think they're that stupid, right? And that's giving them some sort of positive, if anything. So, I think right here we'll go with Travis Hunter. I mean, the chat's saying so we'll go with Travis Hunter as a Cleveland Brown. I would have to think that for the Giants, is it Carter? Is it Carter, guys? Or is it Sanders? No. Probably not, right? Carter? We taking Carter? Save Carter for the Steelers. Yeah, that's not Jake. That's not happening. That's not happening. No way. Yeah, Carter. Yeah, of course. Of course. Now we are at the New England Patriots. The needs are running back, wide receiver, and offensive line. I mean, I don't think they take Genty. Ted McMillan's there. They could use an offensive lineman for sure. I mean, they need a lot of help to surround Drake May, but Handy Cartman with a $2 super chat says, "Mod meetup at next year's drafts." I'm down. I mean, the draft's going to be in Pittsburgh. We're going to be there for sure.
All right, I see the chat saying Will Campbell and Tyler Warren. I was thinking Campbell. I think they go O-line here.
Will Campbell, my bad.
Yeah, I see some of the chat saying Will Campbell. So we're going to go Will Campbell here from LSU. How about the Jags? Do we see our first trade here? Or do they go wide receiver? Do they go Genty?
Do they go Tyler Warren?
Yes, because they need a tight end.
Yeah.
Or do they go O-line? Or Mason Graham. Ooh. I see you, chat.
A lot of people project Mason Graham there. Yeah, they do.
Cody says that the Pat should really go Genty, but it will be Campbell. Yeah, I think they could get a little more dicey in the running game, but I think they have too much faith in Stevenson. Mason Graham is the most common for the Jags. Take a look at the trends. I mean, it sure is. Look at
use D-line help, yeah.
Jags select tight end Warren. Jags are going offense now. I see a lot of the chat saying Graham. I could also see Warren here, though. I can see this going anywhere.
Where do they go?
I see Campbell, Warren. That's all I see is Campbell and Warren. That's all I see. That's the majority of this that I see here. Personally, I think Warren.
I
they
could
go.
see Warren. I could see Warren. You know, their new head coach and whatnot. I could see him going offense. Warren is a Swiss Army knife. He is. Trevor Lawrence is such an overrated quarterback. Yes, he is.
Yeah,
Ryan.
he is.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Not good.
WDN says, I think Graham, but Warren or Jenny is possible, even Ted. I think they're all on the table. To the point, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jacks potentially trade. With who? I don't know. Could it be the Niners? Maybe we get our first trade here. Genty, they are down in ETN. They sure are. They really are, man. All right, so it seems like we're aiming towards more Warren or Genty. Dude, I think they have to go offense. Their offense is putrid.
It's not good.
Let's do a poll. Okay, that's what we'll do. Why did GP unfollow the Steelers? I don't know.
It's a non-story.
Jags pick. We'll put Warren, Genty, and what was the other one? Graham or Ted? We'll put Graham just based off of the trend there. So we'll go Graham. Get you guys polls in the chat. I personally think they go Genty. It could be Warren, though. It's one of those two. I think they can wait on receivers, seeing that they have an early second rounder.
Okay, this is interesting. Mike Florio has the Steelers drafting Michigan tight end Colston Loveland in his mock draft.
Mike Florio was an idiot. We're not going tight end in the first round. If there's one position we're not going, it's tight end. I would put $100 on that right now that we're not going tight end.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
46% say Warren, but I see a lot of the chat saying Genty. Trying to trade ETN. Does ETN have any trade value? Has been the same guy. Hey, Twins, you guys watch any NBA playoffs? That's all we watch is the playoffs.
I have not watched one game yet, but I'm sure that I will soon. What's the poll like? What's he up there on the poll?
We got Genty leading the way. So Ashton Genty is the pick for the Jags.
Sorry, Raiders.
Now, how about the Raiders? Marion Hampton? Ted McMillan. They need receiver. They badly need receiver, especially since they just traded and paid Geno. Do they go D-line? They ain't got no one on that D-line. I think it's Hampton. I think they need running back more than anything. Will Johnson? Oh. Matthew Golden? Okay, we're getting a little more diversity over here. We're getting some interesting names floating around. Makes this interesting. Let's see. Where's Hampton is ranked up over here. Barron sneaky pick. I could see Barron being the first DB off the board. Barron low key. Okay. Membu. I could say maybe they go tackle.
Do they go tackle? Colton Miller. He's what? Is he their left or right tackle?
I more so see. I don't see Membu here. I don't think they go O-line.
No.
Someone on the Celtics got busted open. He was bleeding so bad. Oh, my.
Oh, really?
Who says the NBA isn't physical? Sanders could be a sneaky pick here. Oh, for the Raiders? To sit behind Geno? I don't deny it, Cody. All right, so what are you guys saying? Tet, Barron. Go Barron and Will Johnson. Electric. I don't know, man. All right, so it seems like you guys are really aiming towards the defensive back area, the cornerback area. Do either one of these two?
Listen, they need. I mean, they lost Nate Hobbs, and I don't think they really had anything big on the defense, at least not off the top of my head. So I can see them going defense. I can. They could use it.
Johnson or Barron? Rob, coin flip.
Coin flip?
Coin flip.
Well, let me get a coin out here.
We're going to do a coin flip, folks.
All right, I got a dime. It's going to make this a little bit more interesting here.
Top 10.
So we're looking at Johnson or Barron.
Johnson to Barron. Barron heads. Johnson tails.
Yep, coin. Flip. Fingertip grab. Heads.
So it is Barron. We're going to go Jahdae Barron out of Texas.
Damn it, I wanted him.
For the race. So did I. So did I. All right, how about the Jets? We thinking tackle? They got Fields. They got Breece Hall. They still got, what's his name? Garrett Wilson. I think they go tackle here.
Oh, dude, they need tackle.
They need tackle.
Tyron Smith, he retired.
Take the best tackle on the board. It's got to be Armand Memboy. Did I say his name right?
No, but he's a pure right tackle.
Oh,
He's a
hold on,
very
the
good player.
chat-
Or the chat saying Tyler Warren.
I see a lot more Warren in this chat.
He's been heavily mocked to the Jets. Yeah, I'm seeing Warren more, dude.
Seeing a lot more Warren.
Warren's top 10. That's
You
for
know
sure.
what? I see a lot more Warren, and there's going to be no second thought here. Tyler Warren, top 10. He's catching passes from my guy, Justin Fields.
That's a luck, Fields.
Patriots. Panthers.
Panthers, yeah, the other team that starts with a P.
Yeah, Patriots already picked. Or maybe the Patriots trade back up here.
No,
Maybe they take Tet because they need receiver.
I don't think
No trades yet, folks. Again, we still got the trades we can do. Y'all got any crazy ideas?
Jalen Walker, linebacker.
Jalen Walker.
Wait, over Campbell?
Oh yeah. I see it happening all the time. Tet McMillan to the Panthers catching passes from Bryce Young. Steelers trade to 8 for what? Just to make sure that Sanders doesn't go to 9.
I better not do that. I mean, and that was also talked about and speculated from many people. I wouldn't do that. I would not do that.
Pickens for 8.
Yeah, if it was that easy.
Should I try?
Do you dare?
I will dare. If y'all think I should try, we play the Jets this season. Yes, we do.
Yep.
Yes, we do. Listen, Tet fell all the way to 8. That's crazy. Panthers, man, they got Thielen. They got my guy, Xavier Legette. That's about it.
No, I could see them going receiver, though.
Jalen Coker stepped up big time last year, but then they ain't got no premier number 1. They got no really serious guy for Bryce Young. I think Adam Thielen would be a hell of a mentor for someone like Tet if they want to go him. Mason Graham says Phil. Who they got on the trenches? So they still got Derrick Brown. Is he still there?
Yeah. He just got hurt last year. So Derrick Brown's coming back from injury.
Mike Green is the wild card.
Oh yeah, the pass rusher. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Out of Marshall. I don't know. Top 10 might be a little too rich for him. I see a lot of the chat saying Tet. Feeling his old, need young Tet. All righty. Well, we're going to go Tet McMillan from Arizona. Saints. All right, chat. Be unbiased here. What we doing? God, they need what? They need everything.
Yes, they do.
They need everything. Anything you can think of, they need. Jahad Campbell, Saints. Jalen Walker, Dart. Okay. They should pick Sanders. Mason Graham would be lucky if he's there. Okay, so you want Mason Graham to the Saints.
Cam Jordan ain't getting younger.
He's not. And y'all need
And they have Brian Breezy, if you remember, from Clemson.
yeah, he was really good coming out of Clemson.
They could pair Graham with him. I mean, that would be nasty.
All right, chat. Get some names. Graham's best player available might do that too.
I heard the Saints really like Milrow. Not at 9.
That would be the worst decision they could ever make.
That would be a horrible start to the Kellen Moore era. And Nolines.
If Mason is still there, teams will be trading up. What team specifically? You know what? I could see potentially the Niners trade up if they really want Graham. You guys want to entertain a trade situation somehow? Could the Bengals trade up? Know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jake is a Saints fan, and he says that would suck.
Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, Jake, that would suck. Go Jalen Walker or Jihad Campbell. I guess I got to go with what the Saints fan wants, don't I? Dolphins trade up.
Yeah, Old Head says Saints have Spencer Rattler. Go defense. Yeah, Spencer Rattler's the answer, bro.
Well, obviously he's not the answer, but they can't take a quarterback in their current situation.
Well, what's the other quarterback they got, huh? Who's the other one? What the hell is his name?
Oh, Dolphins aren't even a team that wants to trade up. I see the Cardinals. I see the Bengals. I could very well see the Bengals trade up if they really want. Like, if he's there, I think they get aggressive because they already threw everything at their offensive weapons. I would go Graham. I'm also a Saints fan. Funny how many Saints fans are in the Steelers chat. Hey, we both bleed black and gold, don't we?
I think we need to listen to the Saints fans, bro.
That's what I'm saying. All right, Graham or one of the linebackers with Olave injury, take Golden. Ooh. Yeah, see, you got options all over the place. Poll? Okay. Get a poll going. Let's do Mason Graham. Oops. Saints pick. Graham. We're looking at Campbell. Jalen Walker. And
Golden is more of a Shaheed type receiver. We need more of slot. I'd go Graham. That's right. You still have Rashid Shaheem.
All right, Saints pick. Get you guys polls in the chat, man. The poll will tell the truth for the Saints. Walker is a demon, can play edge too. That's right, he can. Them Georgia linebackers, bro. They different.
I kind of between Graham and Walker.
See a lot more Graham, but let's see. Walker's creeping up. Let's get those polls in the chat, folks. Graham's creeping up. Graham's getting up there. Seems like Graham is the heavy favorite. We're going to go Mason Graham here. Bears. They got to go Hampton here, right? Got to go Hampton here. They need running back. Or do they? Do they go Walter Nolan? Do they go another position?
They need running back.
They need running back, bro.
Swift is fine, but he's getting older, and they need a premier back in Chicago.
Bears will go Mike Green.
Pass rusher?
Don't they still have what's his name? From the Commanders years ago.
Montez Sweat.
Yeah, they still got him going.
Do they have anybody paired with him? I don't think they do. Do they?
I haven't paid attention much to the Bears.
I mean, who does?
Roster.
Bears rebuild the O-line to get a running back. Yeah, they invested heavily at the offensive line this all season.
Sure did. Yeah, traded for Joe Tooney. Didn't they trade for another guard?
I thought they did. Jonah Jackson, right?
Think so, yeah. Yeah, I mean, all they got is Swift.
They got Bill Murray. Will Johnson.
I could see
I
it.
don't know. I think Ben Johnson wants a premier back. He had one.
But he's a defensive coach too, though.
Ben Johnson.
No, not Ben Johnson. I'm thinking of the Jets coach. My bad.
No. Yeah, that's Aaron Glenn.
Yeah,
I think Ben
he's
Johnson goes offense.
Yeah, I agree. We're gonna go Hampton here.
I think it's Hampton, dude. Later, O'Marion.
All right, 49ers. I could see O-line here. I could also see D-line because Nolan's there. I think Nolan is a bona fide nine if I've ever seen one.
I could see it, dude.
I mean, look, we still got Banks. We still got Membu from Missouri. Johnson. Niners, Will Johnson, they lost Ward. I think, you know what? They did.
They did.
They sure
course.
did. They just got Robert Saleh back, too, as DC, I think.
Yep. Yeah, he came back.
Yeah, we got Johnson. We got Nolan. We got Green in the chat. Got some interesting options here. I do like the Will. Honestly, man, I think Will Johnson fits well for the Niners and what they want to run.
Yeah, I can see it.
Wouldn't roll out Loveland Kittle contract situation. No, you can't roll that out either. Maybe they wait later for a tight end.
Maybe.
Derrick Harmon.
I hope not.
See, okay, let's take a look. Based on the trend, Walter Nolan, Memboy, Barron's already off the board, Will Johnson still there, Kelvin Banks still there. And they got some talent to choose from here.
Names.
Do they trade back? They could trade back if they wanted to. I know a lot of people mock the Niners to trade up, but could they trade back?
For who? Who would be on the board?
Well, let's see who's on the board and what could the Cowboys take? Probably receiver, right?
I don't know.
Same. What if a team trades up right in front of the Cowboys for like maybe a Matthew Golden? Maybe Seahawks, maybe the Chargers, maybe the Packers.
Still Lee with a 199. What's up, Still Lee? He says, I see GP unfollowed the team. Trade incoming.
I don't know if anything's imminent. I don't know if that means anything. I'm not considering that as like a newsworthy situation.
No, neither am I.
Did Trent Williams retire? I don't think so.
No, I don't think he retired.
Shedeur? I don't think the Niners are taking Shedeur, my guy. I don't think they entertain that at all. Danielle, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat.
Hey, Danielle.
AD in the chat says, what's good? Just left work right on time. Good to have you in here, man. We're just doing a full first round mock draft. We are here at pick 11 for the San Francisco 49ers. Shedeur Sanders is still on the board for all those interested. So is Derrick Harmon. So are all these guys. Needs your guys' help in helping us select these next couple players leading up to our pick at 21. I see Niners getting young tackle. Trent Williams will be 37 years old.
They could go tackle.
Could that be Kelvin Banks here? Because if they want someone to replace Trent Williams, Kelvin Banks is probably their best bet. Unless they want to move Memboy over to left, but I don't know if that's probably the right situation. Greg Zabel? Shanahan-type offensive lineman? Yeah, I could see it. He's getting a lot of talks. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like one of those guys that goes much earlier than anticipated. Derrick Harmon does feel like a Niner pick. I can't disagree with you. All right, so chat, what are we thinking? It's hard to tell because they can go so many ways. That's why I entertain potentially trading back. Let's see what teams we got calling. Colts, Bengals, Bucks, Rams. Could the Rams trade up? Could the Rams trade up potentially for like a Will Johnson? You know they need corner.
Yeah.
You know they need corner. And they love sending away their picks. They are
They're going to trade with a defensive rival?
I mean, if the Niners are going to get something back potentially, I would just take Johnson in my opinion. Harmon or Simmons. Will Johnson, I think most likely. Harmon.
I'm hearing a lot of Johnson.
Cardinals trade up. What do the Cardinals trade up for? Again, that's a division rival as well, and they're not even interested. I see a lot of Johnson too. So we're going to go with Will Johnson. All right, Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys. God bless their souls.
Can't really go running back. A little too early.
No, can't go running back whatsoever. Again, no trades have happened yet. What are we thinking, chat? I think receiver here. I think they go wide receiver. They can't go running back. The top two are off the board. Any other receiver would be considered a reach. Or any other running back would be considered a reach.
And there's Luther Burden in the chat and Matthew Golden. I said that I could see Golden fit nicely as a Cowboy. Another Golden.
Oh, do the Cowboys trade? Let's see who's calling. Damn, the Colts really want to move up in this thing. Chargers.
They're 2 picks away.
Oh, Chargers. Listen, they need a receiver too. Could they trade up 10 spots for Golden? I see a lot of Golden in the chat. Do we entertain this or no? Do we just take Golden? Full flat out. Luther Burden is a perfect Cowboy, in my opinion. I don't know. Could they go tackle? Steelers trade up for Golden? I don't think they trade up for anybody. They don't have enough picks to do it. We only got 6 picks this year. I think their tackles are fine. I'm not sure if they're going to look towards tackle. All right, it seems like the chat is just saying Golden, so we're going to go with a Matthew. That's the wrong position. We're going to go with the Matthew Golden. How about the Miami Dolphins? This one I don't know because Tyreek wants out. He might get traded.
Jalen Ramsey might get traded.
So they could use corner. They could definitely go corner here. I mean, anyone else would be a little bit of a price up, but maybe they trade back. We haven't done any trades yet, folks. Any trades?
Josh Simmons or
Josh Simmons.
Calvin Banks.
Listen, you need to protect Tua.
Yeah.
You need to protect Tua. Josh Simmons, yeah, I could see it.
No, I think they go offensive line.
Dolphins
Tua's dealt with too many injuries already.
He fell all the way down to 13. Like, how do you not?
Yeah, how's Austin Jackson doing?
I don't know. Probably not good. Calvin Banks to the fence. Okay, so who are we thinking?
Armstead just retired. It's tackle.
Yeah. So we gotta look at left tackle then. So that would most likely be Calvin Banks. It could be Simmons, but if you want a predominant left tackle, you're probably thinking Banks because
we're talking about position and need right here. I mean, like if he's the best available left tackle for Miami, I mean that could be the pick for them.
Yeah, everyone's saying Memboy. I mean, he fell. They could move him to left, or they could keep him right.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking at their team. They don't have a left tackle.
No.
At all.
I'm thinking predominantly left tackle. Because I know they got Austin Jackson. Does Austin Jackson still play that position?
Austin Jackson's still a starter.
Is he a guard now, or is he still...
Right tackle?
Okay. Because I heard reports that they moved him to guard.
I didn't hear that.
Keep in mind, Austin Jackson was the pick that the Dolphins got for when we traded for Minka.
Yep.
Shout out to Austin Jackson. All right, so it's either between Memboy or Banks. Draft Bo Callahan. I think Greg Zabel will be the best offensive tackle.
Kelvin Banks for left tackle or Josh Simmons both play left tackle.
All right, so it's one of the two. See, I think Kelvin Banks is getting a lot more earlier talks, though.
Do we do a coin flip? Because I think it's either Simmons or Banks.
Everyone's saying Banks. All right, we'll go Banks. Kelvin
right.
Banks here.
No need for a coin flip. Now we got the Colts.
Colts.
I mean,
tight end?
They
got to go tight end.
They need a premier tight end.
This is someone. I mean, the Colts are hoping that Warren falls, and I don't think it happens. So
no, but if they were to fall back on a Loveland, you can't hate that.
Yeah, we're not.
I think this is easy.
Yeah, Olsen Loveland from Michigan. Falcons. They're not going wide receiver. I don't think so.
No, I don't.
I think they go edge. I think we're looking at a Mike Green here.
Are you thinking of Mike Green from Marshall?
I am. I think we're looking at a Mike Green. I think that's a good fit. Either Mike Green or maybe.
Do they still have Matthew Judon?
Matthew Judon?
Yeah, the Falcons. Even then, I don't think he had a impressive year with Atlanta. No, he's not there with them.
Oh yeah, they.
He gone. Damn, only 5.5 sacks last year and 15 starts.
Yep.
Ew.
Yep. Mike Green it is from Marshall. Cardinals. Cardinals is another one of those teams, man. They could go receiver. They could also go O-line. They can go D-line. And listen, they've met with a lot of the top defensive linemen. They've met with Harmon. I believe they met with Nolan. So if I had to guess, I think they go defense here. Jake says Amos. Trey Amos. Electric Visual says Nolan. Harmon, LOL. They met with him.
Jay, do you just not want us to go Harmon? Because I want us to go Harmon.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the chat's not going to tell you Harmon. we all know who the Steelers pick is going to be. Keep in mind, folks, no trades yet. No trades yet. Let's see who's calling. The Packers, the Texans, Rams, Lions, and Eagles. What would these teams trade up for? Maybe defensive line help? Michael Williams, maybe? Did they look into him from Georgia? Surprised he's ranked down. Well, that's the wrong position. Need edge. There we go. Right down here. Jalen Walker.
Do they go linebacker?
I don't think they go linebacker, no. I think they go Nolan, personally. So we're going to go Nolan here.
Walter Nolan.
Bengals.
Well, they need defensive line.
They need defensive help anywhere and everywhere. They need defensive help anywhere they can get it. Preferably the defensive line. Maybe they go edge. We don't know what the future holds for Trey Hendrickson. Maybe they go edge here.
Yep.
Maybe they look into a Shamar Stewart or a Michael Williams. Maybe a James Pierce from Tennessee. Electric Visual says Grant. Calais Campbell is 38. Cards need defensive line.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, and Campbell did return back home to Arizona.
Sure did.
Wow.
All right, so I'm thinking Grant or an edge guy here. Because it's obvious. That's what they need. They need defensive line help. They need defense help in general. That's got to be the only situation that they go here. Again, always got the trade back option. They have nothing to offer. Texans could trade up in front of the Seahawks if they want to go receiver. Seahawks are still going.
Yeah, they could.
Seahawks could definitely be swept from underneath them. Ravens, what would they trade up for?
What about Jack Sawyer? Jack Sawyer. Geez, thinking Family Guy. Jack Sawyer. Zach Sawyer. He wears long sleeve shirts on the short sleeve shirts on the long sleeve shirts.
Yeah, I don't think Jack Sawyer's getting first round talks.
No, I don't see him as a first rounder.
Yeah, see, my gut feeling was always that they were going to take Grant, and we're going to go Grant here. I mean, I don't like it, but that's what my gut feeling's been telling me for weeks now. Seahawks. Do they go line?
They only have...
How is Memboy still there?
They only have Jackson Smith. They do need line, though. Their line has been awful for years.
Zabel. People saying Greg Zabel. Greg Zabel's right here.
That he is.
Makes sense. They can put him anywhere along the line.
Because they have their tackles, but can he play guard?
Yes, he can.
I mean, there you go, right?
It's projected he could move to guard. But anywhere they want to put him,
I think they experiment.
They're getting a physical guy right there. So we're going to go with the chat mostly saying Zabel. Greg Zabel it is. Bucks. Bucks could go anywhere here. They don't need tackle. They're good there.
They need defense.
They got both their receivers back. Baker's playing really good for them. They got their running backs. Yeah, it's all about the defense here.
They're saying Campbell.
That's what I was thinking too. Come on. That is a Buccaneer linebacker if I've ever seen one. Come on. The history that they have just makes sense. We're gonna go Campbell here. No doubt about it. Broncos.
Running back, receiver, center, or defensive line.
Who's their right tackle?
Great question. I can check that out right now. Give me one moment there, brother. One moment there, brother.
They also, I don't think they've ever got a replacement for Justin Simmons.
Well, Garrett Bowles is, of course, their left tackle. Mike McGlinchey.
Oh, they still got him?
Former 49er, yeah.
No, what's the chat thinking?
They don't need a tackle.
They're thinking Starks, Luther, Henderson, or Harmon, Egbuka. Oh, so we're thinking receiver. They could give Bo Nix more weapons.
They could go secondary, yeah. Though they signed Hufanga.
Hufanga, when healthy, is a stud strong safety.
As far as free safety goes, I don't know who they got there.
Trey Harris a shocker? Not in the first. Not over a Burden or Egbuka. I can totally see Burden being the pick.
Yeah, give him another target, the quarterback.
Give him another speedy guy, yeah. Give him someone that's a yak monster. Trade up Giants or Browns. Let's see who's talking. Okay, listen. Okay, listen. Hey. Hold on. I'm with you. What team would maybe the Giants? They got more to offer than the Browns do. Right? Where the Browns at?
There.
The Browns got something to offer. All right, do we entertain a trade? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no answer. Do we entertain a trade here? Because if we don't, we know what the pick's going to be at 21. Egbuka,
Yeah, we do.
Egbuka over Burden. It depends. Do they want someone with, a little bit of everything? Safety, route runner, some size to him. Browns have Sutton and Marvin Mims. I see defense. You guys are saying no to a trade. Yeah, we'll be doing a Steelers mock after this, TJ. Okay, so Old Head thinks defense. Could it be Starks? Do they need safety? I think they do. They don't really have anyone.
As far as free safety goes, no. I don't think they do.
Other defensive options? Do they take Harmon here? Who's available at the defensive line position over here? Is Sanders available? Sanders is available. Right there. He's sitting Purdy right there. Trade Dan. So I got people saying no, we shouldn't trade. I got people saying we should trade Dan.
Starks Hufanga, that's a good duo.
I agree. That might be honestly just the best players available situation.
It might be.
To mix it up a little bit, let's go Starks here. We're going to go Starks here just to mix it up a bit. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, Chad.
We're going to go tackle for a third straight year. I don't care how you guys feel. I don't care who you guys want to take. We're taking tackle third straight year.
Listen, man, we got to protect the quarterback, okay?
Yeah, we do, man.
Whoever that might be.
Fatano, he can move to the left guard. He'll be fine. I'm kidding.
That's not happening.
Tyler Shuck, yeah, I'm going to have to kick you out. No.
Visuals, come on.
All right, I give you two options. Tyler Shuck. God, no. Not him.
Shedeur Sanders.
Shedeur Sanders or Derrick Harmon. Or do we trade down? But a lot of the chat
is saying Sanders.
A lot of the chat is saying Sanders.
Well, I think you got to make the pick. Hampton's gone, Black.
Yeah, Hampton went to the Bears. A lot of you are saying Sanders, man, and that was inevitable. Shedeur Sanders it is.
Yep, it is.
Shedeur Sanders it is. Now, how about the Chargers? They got to go receiver here, right? They have to.
They need a wide receiver.
They need a receiver big time. If it was up to me, I would have traded back. But I got to listen to the chat. Got to listen to the chat, man. All right, what we thinking? What we thinking the Chargers do? Welcome to Dion Berg.
Okay.
Oh, God.
All right.
Get used to it. 24 hours from now, it's going to be reality. I'm telling you right now.
Maybe.
Loveland's gone. Loveland went to the Colts. Higgins. Really? Higgins over Egbuka and Burden?
No, I don't think Harbaugh would do that.
I don't know, man. He likes his big guys.
I know he does. I don't know. I think it's a little too rich for Higgins.
Again, we haven't done any trades yet, and I don't think the Chargers trade. Mike Williams went back to the Chargers. He did, but is he like their number 2, their confident number 2, alongside Quentin Johnston? They got the names there. They got the numbers there. I just don't know if they have the production there. I feel like those 2 guys are going to be on their way out in no time. Still, analyst says Burden. We got Higgins. We got Egbuka. So it seems like we're all aiming towards wide receiver. Michigan head coach not taking Ohio State wide receiver. That's good analyst right there. I think they take Egbuka. Personally, if they want a receiver, someone that's kind of gonna match what Sutton does, it could be Egbuka. I think they go receiver regardless.
Egbuka would fit nicely, yeah.
But you know what? Maybe Steel Analyst is right. Maybe he doesn't want to take a Ohio State wide receiver. All right, chat. We need a final answer. Final answer. It's going to be wide receiver. We need a final answer. Rob, what do you think? It's either Burden, Egbuka, or Higgins.
They could use some yak ability. Though McConkey does that.
McConkey does that for sure.
McConkey does that. Egbuka, he's a blocker, but he's also very valuable as an outside wide receiver. I don't know. I can see Egbuka.
That's what I'm saying. So we're thinking Egbuka, chat. It would be weird for Jim Harbaugh to take an OSU receiver for sure, but
Harbaugh sees the talent.
remember, it would be a smart pick. It would, but Chargers have their tackles down. They got Slater and they got what's his name? Another brain fart. They got Slater at left and Hoot the right tackle.
Joel.
Thank you, Joe Holt. All right, we're gonna go Egbuka. We're gonna go make Egbuka here. Packers, they need a receiver. Do they go Higgins? You know they love their tall guys. Do they go Burden? He's still on the board. Maybe Io Manor from Stanford. Why is Jalen Walker still on the board? Someone's getting a steal. That's how the board fell, bro. Just how the board fell. Even Membu's still there. I don't know how, but he's still there. Who's going to take him? I know who's going to take him. Does he last there? We'll see. Electric Visuals thinks Walker. You know, it would be the most Packers thing ever to not take a receiver here. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah, for real, though. That's like real talk there.
All right, we're going to go, you know what? They also love their Georgia linebackers, man. They really do. Trey Amos replaces Alexander. Okay, I like that. We could see corner here. Very much see corner. Can we trade back in for Steelers and take running back? Maybe later. We could always entertain that for the chat. Damn, where do the Packers go? Let's see. Preferably wide receiver, but they could go so many other needs. They can go many other positions. I just right. Their best bet is probably Luther Burden. I mean, he's almost like another Jalen Reed, but, you know, maybe a little more explosive. Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. He's on the board still. Rob, what are you thinking?
Me?
Yes.
Wide receiver.
You think wide receiver?
Yeah. I'm thinking. I think they go. Yeah, I'm contemplating Higgins, but
What?
I don't know.
I'll throw in a name for you guys. What about Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky?
I mean, they do need a corner. I mean, like, I don't think Jair Alexander's going to stay there for long.
What about Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky? How about that?
They need a receiver, but I could see corner actually.
He's
yeah.
getting
it.
He's getting first round talks, and he will be there at the NFL draft tomorrow. What about Maxwell Harrison? It's either Amos or Harrison if we go corner. I kind of like Harrison. I mean, I don't know if that's the right pick for the Packers, but I mean,
The Packers have been a team that's reached, quote unquote.
You know what? Just to mix it up a little bit, we're going to go Maxwell Harrison here. Vikings. They can go corner here too. I know they were projected to go safety to replace like a Harrison Smith eventually, but obviously Malachi Stark's in there. Could they still go safety later with like a Nick Ayo manner? They could.
Yeah, could they take?
Or, I'm sorry, Emmanuel, excuse me.
Yeah, could they take Nick what's his name?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
I'm thinking of the receiver from Stanford.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The South Carolina safety. I mean, he's getting first round talks.
Trade
you
down.
Hold on, listen. You pair him with Brian DeBull. DeBull could probably get the best out of him.
You know what? They could trade down. Who could trade up for who?
Well, who's the pick before?
It's the Texans. At 25.
They need line.
Trade back. Giants take Dart. I like that. Our first trade of the night. Where's the Giants? Probably.
Listen, they need capital. The Vikings need some capital.
They're not interested. Should we just force it?
I'd force it.
Is that enough, chat? Should we just force it? Yes, Vikings will be trading out of the first.
But they get hella capital out of it.
All right, let's force it. Vikings, you will not be picking on night one. And the reason they would be trading up is because the Vikings need capital back. It's not to trade up in front of the Texans to get whoever. It's just because the Vikings are finding anything they can to get. Jackson Dart's on the board. The Giants take Jackson Dart. Is that what we're doing here, chat? Milrow.
No.
That would be the most Giants thing ever. I would laugh. Okay, you guys are putting Milrow in the chat.
Listen, they don't have Dave Gettleman anymore.
The more Milrow,
No, they did let Saquon walk.
The more Milrow I see, the more I gotta take him.
A poll? Might as well. Or a coin flip since it's only 2.
100% they have ties to Ole Miss and Dart. You know, we're going to go Dart.
Yeah, go
Milrow's
Dart.
not going in. Listen, he might be there. He's not going in the first. He's going to be sitting pretty for a while. We're going to go Jackson Dart. Texans. It's obvious who they're going to go, bro. He's here. That's a steal. Come on. They have to go tackle. They need everything on that O-line. Everything.
Here, let me look at their line quick. Just to get a glimpse of it.
Kenyon Green was a bum, and they traded him
to Philly.
Kendrick Green sucks.
Okay,
they traded one of their tackles away.
They have Cam Robinson at left tackle, Ed Ingram at left guard.
Oh, God. That's not good.
Who's their center? Jarrett Patterson. Who the hell's their right guard?
Who's their right tackle?
They have Titus Howard, who was moving around the line all year last year due to injury, and Trent Brown.
They gotta go Memboy. They have to.
Would Oh, they also have Blake Fisher, who's I guess their swing backup tackle.
I see a similar number of Simmons than I do Memboy, so we're gonna do a coin flip.
All right, so
yeah, they could go receiver, but they need line, bro. They can't ignore it any farther.
Yeah, God help CJ Stroud. Seriously, dude.
Okay, we're gonna do a coin flip. I'll do the coin flip this time.
No, I got the coin.
Okay. So heads is Simmons, tails is Memboy. Am I saying his name right? Flip.
Heads.
It's heads. We're going to go Josh Simmons out of the Ohio State, pairing right back with C.J. Stroud.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
What did Memboy do to fall this far? Rams. They could use tackle too. I know they still got Rob Hivenstein. They can go tackle too. They could also go corner. Maybe they go linebacker. Jalen Walker's still on the board.
They don't have a left tackle. The Rams, they don't have a left tackle.
No, they don't. But there's no one you're probably taking right now to be a left tackle unless you're
No.
moving Memboy to left.
Yeah. That's why the coin should have been on tails, but, it didn't.
JPJ McVay would love him. I see Harmon in the chat. Yeah, Harmon's still there. See, the Rams are they're always hard to predict because, one, they never have first-round picks, and they could go anywhere here. I see them being mocked a lot to go corner, and they need corner help. They could also use the tackle, but they could save that for day 2. They got no day 2 picks outside of 90 and 101. That's late day 2. How about Stewart? And maybe they add more to that D-line.
Could.
Jalen Milroe? I can so see it. I could so see it. I don't think it'd be good for him, but I could see it. If y'all think Milroe, man, we're going to take Milroe here. Maybe he does get his name called on night 1. Are we really going to go Milroe here? Pierce Jr. with Verse would be nasty. Yeah, along with Brandon Fisk from last year, too, along that D-line. That's a scary front 7. All right, so chat's saying Milroe, and then we're getting edge here. I throw out corner, but perhaps they want to add more. There's still tackle. The Flacco Lamar 2.0. Every time I think of the Rams, I think of Earl Campbell trucking Jack Youngblood. Good old days. Mill going to the Rams would be a dream spot for him. I think it would be too.
Honestly, it would be a great spot for Milroe. It would be a great pairing.
I see a lot of people saying Milroe. I see Dan saying Memboy.
Do we go Jalen Milroe?
Is it Memboy or Memboo? I feel like I'm saying his name wrong. We'll call him Armand. How about Armand? We'll just call him Armand.
Memboo sounds right.
Stafford's 37, and Garoppolo backs up. He's still playing?
Yes, he's still the backup. Milroe being the third string, the red shirt guy in certain packages. A lot of you saying Milroe, dude.
Well, the thing with Milroe is he would be the 3 and he'd sit.
That's what I said, yeah.
He would sit.
He'd be the third string, he'd red shirt.
You know, you guys are saying Milroe? We're going to keep this interesting. We're going to keep this very, very, very interesting. Ravens. They could use edge.
Yeah, they could. I will say this about the Ravens. They got to get younger at edge.
They could also use corner because they lost, what's his name? From
Tre'Davious White.
No. What was his name last year? You think they go Burton? You think they go receiver?
The corner that was terrible that went to the Jets?
Yes. They don't have a fill-in starter.
Brandon Stevens?
Yes.
They have Nate Wiggins. They have Marlon Humphrey.
Who else?
Though he was more so in the slot.
Who else? I could see Amos being the pick here, man. I hate to say it. I could see Amos being the pick here. I hope I'm wrong, but I could so see it.
Do they go linebacker?
They need someone to pair with
Trenton Simpson got benched for Malik Harrison, who we signed.
And Manworry? Yeah, I could see that too. Maxed out the offense when Zay went down. They had nobody else. That's fair. Jalen Walker. Listen, Jalen Walker also just feels like a Ravens selection. It really does.
Yeah, sounds like one.
All right, people
I
saying,
can see it.
Ew.
I know.
Fine.
I know.
Man, screw the Ravens. People don't like them.
I agree.
I don't even think Ravens fans like them. They just didn't have no one else to choose from, so they picked them when they became a team. Losers. All right, now we got the Lions. Lions, this is another team. I don't know where they go. I think they're good on receiver.
They got St. Brown. They got Jameson Williams. Do they have anybody else after?
They could use another edge. They could use another edge piece.
Yeah,
James Pierce is there.
I don't think they retained Zadarius Smith. He was there to fill in for Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, I think they take Pierce here.
Yeah,
I think him being there is a solid pick.
Nasty, dude.
I think it's a solid pick right there.
Yeah, nasty. They're fine at safety. Good at corner.
Yeah, we're gonna go James.
Yeah, because they
Pierce here.
signed DJ Reed.
Yep. Just keep pairing back up that defense. The Washington Commanders. How about the Commanders?
They're this
man?
far.
Yeah, they went all the way to the NFC Championship game with a rookie Jaden Daniels. Man, probably the
They're never this far.
probably the second best rookie season of any quarterback ever. Maybe the best.
Let me see something. Let me see their squad.
They don't need running back, at least not right now. They could use more edge help. They could use more help on that defense. I could also see them going corner. I could see them going.
Do they go offensive line? Right tackle?
Who's a right tackle?
I think it's Andrew Wiley. But their depth is not good. No, but I think Brandon Coleman's the starter. I think.
They got Kyle Allen for 1.3 mil. I'd like to have that one back. I would too. I want Kyle Allen back. All right, we see the chat saying, heard they're taking calls for Jameson Williams. Really? Interesting.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, Membu hasn't stopped falling. Yeah, I mean, he's all like hearing, come on. Like, let's look at his trends, and he's like unbelievable. Yeah, let's just take him.
At that point, that's best player available, and that's great protection for Jaden.
They got to protect their guy. Buffalo Bills. They go receiver here? What's their trend looking like? There's edge, too. Lord knows they need help on that.
Von Miller ain't getting any younger.
No, he's not. No, he's not. What's the best edge here? Guy from Boston College, Donovan. Shamar Stewart is still here.
I mean, Gregory Rosell's good. AJ Apenza's good. They signed Joey Bosa. Don't forget that.
Yeah, Bills did. Yeah, they got Bosa.
Matt Milano, as long as he can stay healthy. Terrell Bernard. Dorian Williams. Anybody in that
TJ Black says Burden.
Anybody in that secondary?
They need receiver. I can see like a Jaden Higgins here. But Burden's on the board too. They got their big body in Keon Coleman last year. They could use someone with a little more dynamicness.
Yeah, they don't have a number one. Keon Coleman's yet to be determined. Curtis Samuel was hardly used. Khalil Shakir, he stepped up.
Shakir's nice. He's their slot weapon. So if you want someone else on the perimeter, I think Higgins is that guy.
Yeah, I mean that's nasty.
I don't know how
Allen
Burns
Higgins.
I don't know how Burns is falling, but I don't think Burton's gonna fall much farther here. If he's not the pick. If he's not the pick. Go all the way down here.
Yeah.
Another wide receiver for Josh Burden. I see a lot more Burden in here, so we're gonna go Luther Burden. Another guy that shouldn't fall that far. The Chiefs. You can hear my excitement as we talk about the Chiefs. No one likes the Chiefs.
No.
I'm glad y'all got blown out. Because of you bastards, I had to root for the Eagles. For the first time in my life, I felt filthy.
No,
But it felt good because you guys lost.
Hold on, slow down. You rooted for them when they went up against Tom Brady.
Yeah, and then they became what I hated.
Yeah, true.
You live long enough here to be, what do they call it?
You're the dire hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Henderson, yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but I think the hype is a little too much there. Treveyon Henderson, Josh from Oregon, okay. They could go tackle. They could go O-line. Lord knows that O-line didn't help him in the playoffs.
Jawan Taylor's missed your full start. Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey are great. Who the hell's their left tackle? There's nobody. Yeah, they don't have a premier left tackle.
You got a little Joshy over here.
Late first?
Yeah.
I can see it.
Look at him. He's ranked 30. We're at 31.
They need a left tackle, dude. They're fine with wide receiver. Come on.
Mox have Browns trading up somewhere. For who? For what?
Dude, the Chiefs are fine at wide receiver. They're getting Rashee Rice back. Worthy was a good rookie. They still got Juju. Marquise Brown they brought back. They're fine.
They got 49ers backup tackle. Is that good enough?
Who?
Is that good enough?
Who's that? Driscoll? No, that's not him.
Who's after Kelsey? He's getting long in the tooth. That's a new one. I don't know if there's any other tight end that goes this early. I don't think he's.
Oh, you're talking Jalen Moore. That's right. They did sign him. 2-year, $30 million deal.
Chiefs go defense?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. But he's listed as right tackle.
Did they lose anyone on the D line? Did they lose anyone on that D line?
They lost what was his name last year? What was his? I can't think of the guy's name.
Oh, you're talking. I know exactly who you're talking about.
It was like his initials are TW. What was his name? Tershawn Wharton.
Yeah.
Yes, they lost him. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't like it. Chrissy, I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up.
He never did.
No, she never did. Okay, so they could go line on either side of the ball. Draft Harmon, and I don't like it. I don't want to. But you guys made me. All right, now we got the Eagles, the reigning, defending, undisputed, universal Super Bowl champions.
Universal, yet it's only American sport.
Hey, we're going to Ireland next year, buddy.
Yeah.
Nick and Manwari.
And maybe Mexico down the road.
I was going to throw in they go edge. Didn't they lose a bunch of defensive linemen?
They did. That they did.
I was thinking they go edge. But you guys are saying
you mentioned Darius Alexander.
I did. But but Stewart's there from Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And the cat from Boston College, Donovan.
You see, they did
get rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You're right, they did. They traded him. They ain't got no one to fill that spot.
No. Do they go?
I mean, don't worry. That's what the chat's thinking. He's all the way down here. Best player available? Or does a team trade up back into the first?
4.
I don't know.
Who's got? The Browns have the next pick. They have the first pick of day 2.
Sure do.
Of course they do.
What are we doing, chat?
Well, Sanders and Darter are gone, so Milrow's gone. Who the hell are the Browns going to take?
That's why I don't think a trade happens here.
No.
I'm thinking edge, or what you guys are thinking is safety. One of the two. It's got to be one of the two. I'm really convinced on edge here.
Nick Emenwari, no question, still another secondary player.
For sure.
I can see it.
You know they love adding back there. But they did lose Milton Williams on that defensive line. They lost Josh Sweat. They need a new edge piece there. So I'm thinking Stewart or Donovan.
Honestly, Donovan would be best player available.
I just don't think they have that edge guy. They got Bryce Huff. They got Nolan Smith. So maybe. Maybe they got enough there.
Got a Byron Young. They got a Moro Ojomo.
They got Azeez Ojulari in free agency.
They might go safety.
All right, people saying Nick. Nick is the pick. So we're going to go Nick and Manwari. And that right there is our first round mock draft.
Full first round mock draft.
Now, there it is, folks. There it is.
And none of that will actually happen.
None of that will actually happen. No, sir. All right, chat. Now we're going to move on to our final Pittsburgh Steelers full first round or full 7-round mock draft. We're going to use PFF, okay?
Yep, stick with it.
New mock. We're going to pick the Steelers.
Steelers.
7-round. Enter. And we're going to start. And Sanders isn't there. Neither is Derrick Harmon. Or is Sanders there? Hold on.
Now just check the quarterback.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
he is there.
guys.
All right, guys. I think you guys already know.
Is it Sanders?
You guys already know. Derrick Harmon's not there. Sanders is there. I think it's inevitable. It's inevitable. I'm not even going to even...
Just make the pick.
No, hold on. Do we trade back? What I'm saying is, do we trade back enough and maybe still get him?
Maybe.
Yes. You heard me.
Well, TJ Black says trade back.
Lions, man. They're the 28-60, maybe.
That might be doable.
Should I try it?
You can try it if you want. Trade back with Buffalo for their first and second.
Buffalo's not interested, but we can always force one.
Enya says Omarion Hampton, man.
He's on the board. Oh, my God.
He's there.
He is there. All right, chat. All right, chat. All right, chat. All right.
Sanders, Hampton, or trade back? We got to pull it?
Yes.
This is our first round pick, bro.
This is the future of the franchise right here.
Yeah, we hope.
Trying to look at all options. Although I do believe if Sanders there, he's going to be the pick. So maybe we should stop horsing around and just take the guy that's going to be the pick.
Apparently, Giants general manager Joe Schoen's son posted a Jackson Dart highlight reel on Instagram on this NFL draft eve, and then set his account to private.
Oh, that's interesting. If they take Dart at 3, that'll be funny. All right, we're going to take Sanders. All right, now all the way down to 83. No trade backs. No trade backs. No trade backs. 83. See what we got here. TJ West is there. Love him. Mad underrated. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. There ain't much to work with here.
There's an Elijah Roberts who's listed as edge, but he's more so defensive line here. They brought him in for a top 30 visit.
Right.
What about running back?
Damian Martinez is there. He's a little slower. I love DJ Giddens.
Yeah, he's down there.
Take a look who else is here for running back. Devin Neal, like him too. Jadon Blue, but that's more like a 4th round option if they ever want to entertain that.
Jadon Blue. Y'all messed up, man. Hampton is like Nick Chubb.
So I don't disagree. I just had to go with the chat one.
We're just going with the
popular
chat.
vote.
We're going with the chat. It's what we're doing.
The popular chat vote for that.
Some people are saying DJ. Defensive line. It's a mix.
I love Giddens here. Love Giddens
Seen
here.
a lot of Giddens. This draft can be all need versus value.
See a lot of Giddens. Use the mock I tweeted. PFF sucks. I don't disagree. PFF does suck. I kind of like Pro Football Network personally.
Yeah, I don't like their rankings, but
Like
I mean,
I was using PFF a lot this year, and then I moved on to PFN. All right, so Chad, we thinking Giddens here. How far the back can we push D-line?
well, let's scale the defensive line group real quick.
Is there an option to trade back?
Yeah, Rams, give us 1-on-1.
I ain't taking that.
Oh, come on.
Don't take that though. What y'all think? What y'all think? What do y'all think? Trade back, get extra pick? I think that's solid, but I don't know. I don't know if certain guys are gonna not be there. Giddens, maybe that's tough.
Take Giddens, then try for Pegues.
Okay.
We gotta keep our fingers crossed, man.
All right, we're gonna take Giddens here.
Let's just see what happens.
Ty Robinson's there. Love Ty Robinson.
Yeah. Let's look at defensive line.
Gotta go D-line here. Not there. Pegues was taken right before us by the fucking Broncos.
Jamari Caldwell ain't even there either.
By the Broncos. Oof. Okay, chat. D-line is torched. D-line is torched. That D-line
This is why I don't want them going Sanders.
Me too. That's exactly why I don't want it. Because pushing D-line back, oh, God. Walker from Kentucky?
That far?
I think we can get him at 156.
Listen, I'd love a Ty Robinson here. I think that'd be hella good value.
Oh, listen, Josh Farmer's there.
And they brought him in for top 30 visit. He's a good one.
Sure did. Don't let the grades fool you. Tape's a lot better. Tape is a lot better.
Yeah.
Josh Farmer seems like the best pick right now, guys.
He's a good player. He's more than capable.
We're going to go Farmer.
Yeah. Just based off top 30 visits.
If we want to double dip a D-line here, maybe a guy like Walker's still there.
All right, now where we think what we
Receiver,
thinking? Not really anybody right now at receiver. It's catching my eye. Tackle depth maybe.
Corner. I like a Quincy Riley. Let's take a look at D-line again.
Yeah.
Walker's still there.
They also brought in a Jared Harrison Hunt.
Yeah, they brought him in for a top 30 visit.
Yep.
Maybe they bring in two guys. What are you thinking, chat? Do we go D-line again, double dip, or do we go elsewhere?
You see,
This can be salvaged. This can be salvaged.
Farmer's more of a pass rusher, right? I feel like Hunt's more of a decent run stopper too.
Yeah.
I think that's his best trait there. Is the safety from Iowa still there? Are you talking to Sebastian Castro?
He's actually ranked stupid low. But he's not
I
here.
don't see him. No, he's taken.
No, not here.
Still at least says cornerback. We need corner depth.
Sure do.
I feel like we need it.
Zaya Alexander's there. I think Steelers had a presence with LSU Pro Day.
Yeah.
Quincy Riley for sure. Good slot.
Electric visuals. Shiloh, we want the family.
Pair up the Sanders brothers.
I don't want Shiloh. Shiloh's not good. Okay? TJ Black, I understand. Not the worst.
Best player available? Who would that be?
You trust the cornerback depth? No, I don't.
No.
The Steelers might. I don't. Shallow like Ryan Clark, kind of.
He's more closer to Mike Mitchell. I'm dead ass.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, so I see corner. I see D-line. We want to go double dip at D-line. I think we got some real solid options here. We still got 185, so let's take a look at our options at corner later. Za Frazier.
He can fall back on that. Yeah, he's a sleeper.
He's a little older, but
He's a sleeper.
D-line. You got Walker from Kentucky. Jared Harrison Hunt, they've looked at.
Burke, Denzel Burke. Maybe we can grab him later, though. A Denzel Burke.
How much later?
according to his ranking. I think that's stupid low for Burke.
Hey, you know what? We might be able to give him a 185. So if we want to double dip a D-line here and then maybe gamble on Burke later, any good receivers left? None that really pleased me. Maybe Mumpfield from Pitt. Dante Thornton. Felton's all right. Black is the nose tackle. Okay. PFF ranks don't mean shit. I see a 202 pick being taken in the 20s. Yeah, I agree. It's weird. Take Ben Sauls in the 7th. Well, we got 3 picks, folks. So if we want to double dip on D-line here, that's my suggested.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning toward D-line right here, just a double dip.
It's either Hunt or Walker. Either Hunt or Walker.
Do we need to do a coin flip?
There's a bigger body, though. Pure nose. Pure nose.
Yeah, that he is. That he is.
Pure nose. We're going Walker. Deion Walker. And let's hope Denzel Burke is there at the 6th. He is.
He is. So is Al Frazier. What are we thinking?
So y'all want to go Burke or do y'all want to go elsewhere? Such as a line, Upton Stout, strong slot option. Malachi Moore, love him for safety. Mason are going to win MVP this year. You can only hope. I think if we trade GP, we sign Amari after. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm seeing some Burke. I'm seeing some Frazier.
See Moore, Burke. Listen, I like all 3, man. This is tough.
You want to pull it?
Yeah, we'll pull this here.
Let's pull this one, yeah. In the
Was
6th round.
Pick 185. We're going to go Zay Frazier, Malachi Moore, or Denzel Burke, who was locked down for the Buckeyes last year. I hear you, TJ. I hear you. So far, Malachi Moore is getting the majority of them.
I like Moore. Get these polls in a little bit more, but Moore's still leading the way with 54%.
Okay, so to update the George Pickens unfollowing situation, apparently he was following the Steelers right around the time the Steelers traded for DK. Now he's not. What the hell is going on? Listen, I'm not buying into it, but I don't think it ever meant anything. Tomorrow and Friday are going to be very interesting.
Maybe it's, if anything, maybe he just unfollowed them just to
what? Clean out his Instagram feed?
Doesn't following certain like pages or whatnot play with the algorithm?
What? I don't know.
It does or it does not?
I have no clue.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just spitballing.
I don't really scroll through Instagram like that. Somber, what's up, bro? Good to see you in the chat, man. We're doing a Steelers mock draft over here.
Well, right now, Malachi Moore is winning with 47%.
I gotta go make Malachi Moore based off of what the chat's saying. Well, it's based off what the poll's saying. Safety depth. He's someone that can play
Versatility out the ass.
Someone that can play slot too. We're gonna go Malachi Moore from Alabama. We got one more pick, 229. This could literally go anywhere. Jimmy Horn.
We chose Sanders.
Ricky White. Mac McWilliams, if you want a taller outside.
He still has
Corner.
Steelers photos up. It's not that big of a deal. I mean,
Holland Pierce. Yeah, I'm not really worried about
I
it.
think it's a non-story.
Ben Souls Boz replacement. Are we really gonna take a kicker?
No, Boz is fine. Man led the whole NFL in points. A kicker.
Boz can play another 10 years if he wanted to.
That leg ain't giving out.
Yeah, man, we already drafted a quarterback, Sanders.
Jimmy Horn,
I like Jimmy Horn here.
Ricky White. I love Ricky White.
Yeah, we didn't go receiver yet.
I love Ricky White.
We did not
and,
go.
and he can fill special teams too.
We did not get. Yeah, we did not pick receiver yet. Yeah. All right, so we got some options here.
How is Ricky White that low?
I don't know.
That is horse. All right,
I don't know. Webster from Colorado to pair with Sanders. I wouldn't be surprised, but we can do the same thing with
Jimmy Horn.
Jimmy Horn. All right, chat. Horn or White? Probably Horn.
Do we do one more coin flip?
Well, you also got to think Calvin Austin ain't gonna be here.
No.
So
well,
I don't think he will. I think he's gone after this year.
yeah. If George Pickens is still here, I mean that's
The receiver
gonna be tough.
from Ole Miss, Juice Wells. Yes, he's there.
Yeah, some people point towards Jimmy Horn. Yeah.
Everyone's saying Horn. We're gonna go
Alrighty.
Jimmy Horn, wide receiver out of Colorado. Double dip.
Thank you, Shiloh.
We'll go get you in as an undrafted free agent. All right, your daddy will be calling Tomlin. All right, there's the draft. There's the grades. How do you guys feel? Shedeur Sanders, DJ Giddens, Joshua Farmer, Deion Walker, Malachi Moore, and Jimmy Horn.
Okay.
I can live with it. I don't like pushing D-line back so far, but I can live with it.
A lot of talent. Black don't like it. I know. I hear you. A++++.
We had AB personally. We had Bell and D Johnson. I don't think we drafted Sanders, even if he on the board. I think Hunter and Sanders ends up to the Giants or Cleveland. Very possible. Very, very, very possible. I wouldn't be surprised if either of them trade back up. I really wouldn't.
They got the capital to do so.
The only issue is you got to have a team worthy of trading out of the first so far if someone trades up, like the Giants or the Browns, preferably in front of the Steelers, or ideally for them in front of the Steelers.
But listen, man, we're just under 24 hours away from the NFL draft finally being here.
Sure is. Sure are.
We're almost there, bro. To finding out that Cam Ward will be a Titan, what the Browns do at 2, what the Giants do at 3, who the Saints take at 9, and what the Steelers do at 21.
Guys, I want you to do me a favor. Look at the time on your phones, on your devices, wherever you guys are watching. Look at the time on your device. I want you to guys know right now, 24 hours from where we currently stand, as I'm currently talking, 24 hours at this point in time, we will know who the next Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be. And that thought alone excites the shit out of me.
Yep.
At the end of the day, all I want is the Steelers to draft somebody that's going to represent the logo well, that's going to lead this franchise for years to come. You don't have to like the pick. Keep in mind, man, it doesn't make you any less of a fan. You don't have to like the pick. You don't. Every year, people are going to hate the pick. Half the people are going to hate the pick. Half the people are going to love the pick. People are going to be indifferent.
Yep.
It happens. So no matter who it is, you can have your own opinion, but all at the end of the day, we all hope and wish for is that person leads the team well for the next couple of years.
Reps the
Maybe-
colors, reps the logo, helps this team through thick and thin. Just does their assignment.
Yes, sir.
Does their part.
Tomorrow, at this time, we will know who the next Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be. We will know who Roger Goodell will be announcing with the 21st pick, who the Steelers will be selecting, unless they trade back.
Unless they, again, I don't know what they do at 21.
I don't know. I have not an idea what's going to go on.
Again, they've weighed their options. They've scaled every platform. They looked at every other possible option. All options are open for them on the table, so they could go at any direction.
But I'm sorry, continue.
Though, I mean, like, it's heavily speculated about Sanders. Our preference is defensive line, specifically Derrick Harmon.
Yes.
Running back is, a position that they could take. You can't sleep on. So is wide receiver potentially with this George Pickens situation now. It's going to be a wild 24 hours.
It's going to be a wild 72 hours, Rob.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be a very wild 72 hours. I can't wait. I'm all for this. This is what the offseason is all about. This is what the offseason has all prepared us for. This moment, 24 hours from now.
Yep.
I'm here for it. Tomorrow night we'll be live. You guys already know. Can't wait to share the reactions, the feelings, the emotions with you guys in the live chat. So we see you guys tomorrow night. But before we get on out of here, let me know your final Steelers prediction. What do you think happens tomorrow? Who do you think the Steelers take tomorrow? Let me know your final opinion. And Jordan Schultz tweet, is it just now? Just recent?
What? Okay, yeah, right here.
What?
All right, I'm reading this right now. Jordan Schultz, the Saints have made calls about potentially sliding back slightly from number 9 to acquire additional draft capital, with the league-wide belief being they would then use those extra picks to trade back into the late first round to trade a quarterback, sources tell NFL on Fox. New Orleans general manager Mickey Loomis has historically avoided trading down, but this is a strategy teams around the league believe the Saints are considering entering the draft.
It sounds like to me they're trying to trade back up for Jackson Dart. That's what it sounds like to me.
It wouldn't surprise me.
That's what it sounds like to me. Unless they trade back up in front of us to take Sanders. But could they do that for Dart? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
People in the chat saying Sanders. People in the chat saying Harmon at 25. Matthew Golden final pick. Defensive line, one of the 3. Shedeur Sanders, perfect timing. Derrick Harmon, hopping Kenneth Grant. I don't know, man. My final prediction is Shedeur Sanders. I prefer Derrick Harmon. I prefer one of the defensive linemen, but my final prediction is Shedeur Sanders. Could be wrong, could be right. We'll find out very soon.
Same goes for me, double.
We are one night's sleep away and so many hours of waiting impatiently for the draft to start.
We're almost there, bro.
With that being said, we're going to go out of here. We appreciate you guys for joining us on another live stream this week, our 3rd live stream this week. Live streams don't stop now. Tomorrow night we'll be live for the entire first round. We are on the Shedeur Sanders watch. We are on the Derrick Harmon watch. We'll be live all draft for the first round and, of course, the second and third round, the first night and the second night. So we'll see you guys later on tomorrow. We'll see you guys later on this week. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you're new here, hit that like, hit that subscribe on your way out. We appreciate you guys as always. And for any STN members in the chat, it is new. It is exclusive. There's the new peace emote. I got rid of the Let's Ride.
Yeah, because that's no longer valid.
I got rid of it. So we put the new peace emote in the chat for you STN members. So see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your night. Sleep well, Steeler Nation, because tomorrow is a big day. It's an important day. It's going to be a fun and hopefully a good day to be a Steelers fan. See you tomorrow night.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!